The following podcast is recommended for mature audiences only. The following podcast is recommended for adults only. Maturity is not a requirement.
Hello and welcome to the very first episode of Dear Download, a podcast where we get to share our most intimate and treasured memories of Download Festival. We'll talk about each year, the bands we saw, the bands we missed, and everything else noteworthy that happened across the weekend. Also, we'll touch upon any news, other festivals, and the music industry past, present and future. I'm Adam and I'm here with Simon.
Good day, sir.
So, for the first episode, the big news is, of course, the Pilot Festival happening in just a couple of weeks. We'll talk about that a bit later on in the show. And I've got written down here, I need to ask you if you managed to get a ticket, but I already know you did. So,
Yeah, I definitely did.
won't ask that question, but yeah, congratulations on getting a ticket, man.
Thank you. Well, as it turns out, they weren't as sought after as I thought they were.
No.
In fact, they still had tickets the day after, which was just massively surprising.
Yeah. I wonder if that's, like the Friends tickets just weren't
Weren't going.
collected. And so
Yeah.
did they hold the Friend tickets for a certain amount of time and then release them again?
You could only use them for like I think it was like an hour or 2 hours once you
Yeah.
received the code. And after that time, they probably, the number just goes and then that goes on over to another ticket. So I was just so
Yeah.
surprised. I mean, I'll check now because you'll be surprised. I bet you any money when we
Yeah.
do it later in the show. I'll check to see. I bet you any money I could still buy a ticket right now.
Yeah. Are you going to check now or later on?
I'll do it later.
Okay, cool.
I'll do it later. But yeah, look, it'll be interesting to see because if you can still buy one now, then obviously I don't think that Download fans are as mad as I thought. I know it's really short notice, but I thought, normally between 80 and 100,000 people at Download, I thought a 10,000 thing would sell out straight away. Obviously not.
Yeah, but I think it's probably the weekend because it's download should be happening next weekend if they didn't cancel it in the first place. So I'd imagine most people will have next weekend booked off of work, and they just maybe
Yeah.
can't get the week after off.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people online saying too short notice, or don't have the money, or they do the payment scheme every year because
Yeah.
some people are struggling with money, always, so they just pay little drips and drabs. That's what I do. I never buy my ticket outright now. It's a huge chunk of money. I can expect someone to pay that amount of money just off one bat. The installment plan is incredible.
Yeah,
Great idea.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I was going to do the installment plan for 2020, I think it was. Obviously, it never happened. But yeah, going back to them still being available, you messaged me the day after they went up on general sale, didn't you? Saying, I can't believe they're still
Yeah.
still going. And because I'm not going to be going. Have I always said that? I can't remember. But yeah, so I had a look and I thought, what can I do to actually be able to go to the festival this year?
Yeah.
And I thought all I need to do really is go and because I've already got the Friday off. So I thought I'll go and pull on the heartstrings of my manager and try and get that Saturday off, and I might be able to go. And so I was really excited for about an hour, and then remembered I got kids, so my girlfriend would need to get the weekend off as well, so she could look after them. And so yeah, it's about an hour, and I thought, no, I can't go in the end. So
Well, it's the same for
never
a lot of
mind.
people like that. Like, obviously, my situation's so simple. I go, I'm going to have it off. And that's it.
Yeah.
There's not really much else to think about. When you've got kids and other stuff, or your work's more difficult to sort of change, that's probably
Yeah.
why a lot of tickets haven't sold. I know it's not, I said this before, it's not Download's fault necessarily, but it is really short notice. So
Yeah.
it's understandable.
And I bet they're pretty gutted that it didn't sell out straight away.
Yeah. They
Yeah,
must be
they
looking
would-
at the numbers going, what is happening? Because that's what I would be thinking. That's what I thought. I'm sure that's what they're thinking as well.
Yeah. But anyway, like I said, we'll come back to that a bit more later. I want to let you in on a little secret. we didn't actually know each other. So, brief history of this podcast. We had our first interaction over on the Download Festival subreddit. Simon asked a question that he was going to cover on his YouTube channel, and we exchanged for a bit. I asked what his YouTube was and went over and checked it out. Having more of a background in podcasting, more than anything really, I got to thinking whether a podcast all about Download Festival would be a good idea. And I had a search around, and I couldn't find one. So originally, I was going to give the idea to you, Simon. I was just going to say to you, like, if you want to do
this.
it, there's nothing else around. Go and do a podcast. I think it could be good.
It seems you were already in the podcast game. It's probably better that you just went, right, do you know what? I'm actually going to get him to do it with me rather than just giving him the idea of doing it.
Yeah, well, like I said, I already had a podcast. So we took a 2-month break. And in that time, I thought, well, I could do that podcast, actually, the podcast about Download Festival. And I was originally going to ask you anyway, if you wanted to do it with me. When I sort of thought, I could do it, I was still going to ask you if you wanted to do it with me.
When you asked me, I was like, cool, that's a great idea. So you had a good idea.
Well, when I first asked you, it was on Reddit, wasn't it? And
yeah,
and you didn't see it for like 2 weeks, and that was a long 2 weeks for me, because I was thinking like, what do I do? Do I message you? Is that going to seem weird messaging you? And so in that time, I thought, well, I'll give it a go. I'll try and do it. But I was not very fun. It's just talking to myself.
Did you record the episode of you doing it?
I did. I recorded twice.
Okay, we
I never listened back to them.
Did you not? I was going to say I should listen to it because you're probably thinking it's way worse than it actually was.
Maybe it is. The second time, I think I was recording for about 45 minutes, and I said I was going to go through the whole process just in case, just in case it was just me, and I was going to go through the whole process, edit it, but I didn't. I was just like, nah, I'm just going to message you back.
Sorry, man. I don't see. That's what I do on Reddit. I go on Reddit for like a week straight every day, and then I don't go on it for 2 weeks, and then I go back for another week. I'm like one of those sort of Reddit people. Some people are on it constantly, but I've even got the app on my phone now, and I still don't go on there too much.
Yeah.
I love it, especially the Download and Bloodstock and 2000 Trees, because all those subreddits are awesome, but I can't be on there all the time.
No. So I'm on there quite a bit, but I did notice, so I did comment on one of your YouTube videos, didn't I? And you must have got a notification on your phone.
Yeah, I thought, who's this weirdo?
Yeah.
I didn't.
Pretty much instantly. And said, I'll go and check Reddit out. And we did exchange a little bit over on Reddit. But I noticed that it never actually told me when there was a message that came in from you. So maybe their chat is just not very good. Yeah, and even if I had a message from you, it never had a little
notification thing. So you had to actually go in, look at it to see if there was a message.
Yeah. So I assumed that's probably what happened your end as well.
Yeah. Same. Yeah. I don't know what their notifications are saying. And I always turn the notifications off on my phone on some stuff anyway, because you don't want to be bombarded with like a million notifications on your phone. Some stuff you're going to go in to check, you don't necessarily need it.
Yeah, that's
But in this case, we probably did need it.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a long couple of weeks. I'm glad you're on board now.
Yeah.
Because I had pretty much given up on the idea, but like even the day before I messaged you on YouTube, I was like, well, I'm not very good at it. You've not got back to me. Let's just give up on the idea. But no, here we are.
But then it all came together.
It did. Oh, it's going to be amazing, man. I'm sure of it.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it, man. So much stuff happened. So much gossip. I can't wait.
Yeah. So after that, we jumped on a video chat last week, didn't we? Just to discuss things a little bit and
just to say hello and introduce each other, because we're going to be doing a podcast together. But I think that might make it cool for people, because as well as people listening are sort of getting to know us, we're sort of getting to know each other at the same time.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is awesome. So we can all get to know each other.
Yeah. And it was easy as well, wasn't it? It was like, it wasn't awkward. I can be quite awkward sometimes, I'm a little bit awkward around other people. Socially awkward, that's the right way to say it. So I can be a little bit sometimes, but yeah, we were We were cool.
Well, I suppose it's probably daunting for some people. You're doing a video chat with someone that you just don't know, basically.
Yeah. But I mean, I love a Download Festival brought us together. We had.
Well, we talked about music. We talked about how much we love Sixth. We talked about downloads that we'd been to, and just in general, really. And we realised we like the same stuff, so it'd be easy.
Yeah,
I even have to. It's just going to be two people becoming mates having a conversation about downloading music. So it should be good for everyone, really.
Yeah. One of the best things I've ever read on a Rizzler packet is a stranger is just a friend you haven't met yet.
That's good, man. It was on a Rizzler packet.
Yeah, I know. For some reason, for a little while, they just had little cool sayings like that one.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm sure it's
like
been
that.
a saying for a while before that.
I've never heard it until you said it. I was like, never heard that one.
It's cool.
Go Rizzler. Not a sponsor.
No. So I need to say, up until last week, I had never actually sought out any YouTube videos or podcasts or anything that to do with Download. Really, I've watched the Download TV last year, but not actually sought it out myself. And you pointed me in the direction of the Chris Jericho podcast, wasn't it? What is it? Talk is Jericho.
Talk is Jericho. Yeah.
Yeah. With Andy Copping, and so like I said, this is like the first time in almost 20 years that I've listened to anything like this. And I had shivers and goosebumps when he was talking about the 2004 Metallica set that didn't have Lars Ulrich in it. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. It just brought back so many memories.
That's great, man. I'm just surprised that someone like you, who's been to so many downloads, hasn't sought out that. Like, I'm constantly on YouTube and on Spotify, because on Spotify you can find episodes to do a download, but no one does a download podcast. So there is some stuff to listen to. Like, I listened to Chris Jericho's podcast anyway, so I knew he was having Andy Copping on. But God, I probably watched days worth of download stuff on YouTube and that, because I always just try and, there's always stuff I haven't seen as well that's on there, because people are just uploading loads of it. So I'm just surprised that you haven't gone to seek that stuff out.
Yeah. Do you know what? I'm quite surprised now after listening last week and how good it was.
Yeah. Well, there's so much stuff. There's people do vlogs from all the festivals where they film their journey and them get in there and all that stuff. Then you got all the live stuff, then the band interviews, then all the just random stuff that people film. There's literally probably thousands and thousands of hours of stuff from Download. And even the early ones, there's old videos from like 2006 and 3. I mean, they're not the best quality, obviously, but you can still kind of see stuff and you're like, oh yeah, that reminds me of that. And then all the memories start to come flooding back to you.
Yeah, I tried looking for 2003 videos. I couldn't actually find any. There might be some out there. I struggled to find any. So I tried to be clever about it. We obviously had to make a new email address to sort of put all this on. Yeah, and I thought, how about if I make YouTube do the legwork for me? And so I signed into YouTube with that email address and thought I'll only watch videos of Download Festival, so it will recommend Download Festival videos. That's all it knows. So I said this to you last week, didn't I? I set it up and just ran all of your videos through it in one afternoon. I was busy doing other stuff, but it was just on in the background. And I thought, that's a really, really clever thing to do, but it didn't seem to work. So I'm going to have to keep working at it, get more stuff to go through it.
You have to watch a certain amount, and my videos don't come under music. They come under people and blogs.
Oh, okay.
Because that's the way that you have to do it. There's like different categories that you put them under. So just because I'm making a video to do with Download doesn't necessarily mean it will recommend you things of that thing. And I don't think when you're into it you don't, but I think when you start off YouTube, you have to watch a certain amount of videos for the algorithm to kick in to say, right, you're going to like this because you've watched this. So I think if you keep going, like, just type in Download Festival and just watch like the first 5 ones that come up, and you'll probably get recommended a ton more.
Then
it will start having a knock-on effect. Because even now, I turn mine on and I'm like, oh, sick. It's like a Slipknot in like 20 whatever. And I'm like, okay, I'll watch that. And then it recommends you like Lamb of God in 2007. You're like, oh, cool, I'll watch that. Then it gets to know you a bit. But we've got to get there. We'll get it up, man. Don't worry.
Definitely. Yeah, that's awesome.
We'll be legends of that. That's a good point, actually. You just brought something up there. What we should do, we should go through YouTube and try and find like our favorite videos from each year, because there's we could do 2003 onwards. Obviously 2003 there won't be many, but as soon as you get to 4, 5, 6, 7, there'll probably be loads. We can just go through and watch them and see which ones are sick.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good idea, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do that at some point.
Just trying to think now, when did like the first smartphones come around? Because that's probably when the first. Oh, you might not know. I don't know. I'm asking the question, but it's.
I knew someone who had the first iPhone. And I think that was 2005 or 6.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was 5, but it was 5 or 6 when my friend Eugene had. He's had like iPhone since the first one. I didn't even know what the hell it was, like, but he had one, and he's had one ever since. So. Yeah, it would have been around that time. But oh my God, in 2005, 6, 7, and 8, my phone was shocking. I could not have filmed anything. It would have just been a complete mess.
I don't know what phone I had, but it would have been awful. I generally tend not to take photos or videos when I'm at gigs. Anyway, I'm an old timer. I thought you were younger than me. You look younger than me, definitely. But no, it turns out you're a couple of years older than me. But yeah, like
I am.
It bothers me. Oh, no, it doesn't bother me. I enjoy gigs when I go to them. I don't feel the need to stick my phone up and video everything. If you do, that's cool. It's not me.
It's a big debate because, a lot of people are like, what's the big deal? And get really arsey when you say stuff like that. And other people are just like, get them down, like, stop it. But I don't. What I do is I do film a little bit, but only for like 10 seconds, just to, or take some pictures, or just take a couple of short videos. But I don't hold my phone up for the whole set because, like you said, I do want to enjoy it. But what a lot of people do is they film them and then they put them on YouTube, so they get loads of hits. So some people do that, which is fine. I don't mind. But I did notice, I actually commented on a YouTube video the other day. It was like Slipknot in 2005, and the crowd was just going nuts, and I didn't see one phone in the air. And if you watch videos now, everyone's just standing there with their phones. And I know that's like such an old person thing to say. I'm not really that old. Like, we're both only in our mid-30s, FYI. But, like all the young kids are probably like, oh, what's this old man talking about? Just shut up. But I'm like, man, people used to be clamoring over each other and just going insane, and like the vibe was great. But I have noticed that has dipped a little bit. Even at local gigs, it's pretty similar. But that's the way it's going. That's the way it's going. I know it doesn't happen all the time. Some gigs are mental, and Download, you get that front part of the crowd that's just going absolutely ape shit. So still happens, but it's just a bit less. I just feel like there's less movement when people are just standing there and just holding their phones up. It's just...
I've never really noticed that kind of thing, actually. I obviously noticed there's lots of phones, but I never thought about how much the crowd moving less is.
Definitely. You notice it straight away. You put a video on from like Download, even 2009, everyone's just going crazy. And you put a video on from the same band in 2016, and 90% of the crowd are just standing still. So I think it has affected crowds a little bit, definitely.
That's interesting. That's something we should probably go into a bit deeper. At some point.
Well up for that.
Because
that'll be a good subject.
I was going to say, I've only done that once. It was from my friend's wedding at the first dance. I thought, I'll record this. And I was looking at my phone for about a minute, and then I looked at them and I thought, it just feels so different. Because it feels like they're so much further away on your phone. Like, looking at them, I was like, oh, you're actually really here. I'm going to enjoy this moment instead of just looking at you on my phone. But I've never tried it for a gig. Never tried it.
What I always think about is, imagine how awesome it would have been if your parents had smartphones when you were kids. Think of all the photos and the videos and so much stuff you could look back on. Yeah. Which is why I'm a filmer and picture taker. I take pictures more than anything. I swear to God, like, I just take pictures like a maniac because I really like to look back on stuff and just be like, oh, that was cool, that was sick, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Because, before, when you had no mobile phones, you just had nothing. Disposable camera times, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now I'm like, quick, get a shot, get a photo. Then when I look back on them, I'm like, it's wicked, man. It's awesome looking back at those memories.
I like that. I always used to actively avoid being in photos when I was growing up. But now, exactly what you said, when I look back, I think that, there's certain parts of my life where there's not a single photo of me because I've had loads of different image changes and everything.
Yeah.
I used to wear like bracelets up to my elbows, like all sort of black and metal on one arm and then all colourful and rainbow on the other one. And I haven't seen a single photo of that era, and it's a bit gutting. But
yeah, it is, man.
Like you said,
Well, I suppose it's
it
different, especially, I mean, if you've got kids, I'm guessing you want to take more photos because you want to have photos of your kids to look back at and that they can look back at as well. So
yeah, I take loads of photos and videos of them.
Yeah. See, it's good because then, in like years' time, they'll look back on it and they go, "Oh, Dad, show us that video. Remember that video?" And you'll be like, "Oh, yeah," and you'll have that forever. You won't have to remember it because you'll have the video of it. So it's cool, man. I like that stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Do you want to go into that?
Do I want to go into that?
No, it's fine. I would say it. Because I was shielding. There was a positive case at my son's nursery. And so when we got the news, I was like, shit, he's probably brought it home. I'm going to need to go and make a load of videos for them to watch when when they're older, when I'm not around.
Man.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was panicking, actually. I was going to say, no, it wasn't too bad, but I was panicking for about 3 or 4 days.
Well, at least it's nice you're thinking about that. You're literally not even thinking about yourself. You're like, I got to get videos for the kids because they're going to be dead next week.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was all good in the end.
That's nice. That's selfless, man. That's nice.
But I do think, like, when I was doing the other podcast, I thought it made me think about like this generation. Where in say 200 years, if the world's still around, if we're still around, this generation, when they look back, is going to be the most they'd be able to get. Not the most, but they'll be able to get a lot from this generation of what we did. Because like my dad's got no presence online.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they'll be able to find out loads, and they might even find these podcasts, and so they'll actually get to know us a little bit in 200 years.
It's awesome, yeah.
Or whatever.
Like you said, all history now is recorded.
Yeah.
And it's documented, and it's put in the cloud where it can't be destroyed or burnt, or it's there. It's all over the world forever. It's it's the information's on there, which is great because there will never. Well, annoying thing about I think historians is there never be any mysteries. Whereas you look back on other stuff and you're like, oh, this could have happened, this could have happened. But now you'll definitely know what happened. In some ways is good, in other ways leaves all these sort of mysteries a bit known. Yeah. There's no unknown mysteries anymore. But
that's a good point.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know it's fine. I like the fact that, we could listen back to this in 20 years. I think, wow, man, remember that? It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's great. I love it. I'm all for technology, man. Honestly, I loved it ever since the first stuff started coming out, and now look where we are. After COVID, imagine if it was COVID and it was the 90s.
Yeah,
businesses just would have closed instantly. It's only because of technology that we've been able to sort of stick it out and work from home and all that sort of stuff. It's safe. It's a burden sometimes, but it's a blessing in a lot of ways, definitely.
Yeah,
we would be able to do this.
Good point. Yeah, I'd never really thought about that before. Yeah, that's good. I like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so true.
Deep. Deep. Let's not get too deep, yeah?
Yeah, no. I mean, should we go back to the show notes?
Yeah, sorry. Well, you can use all these bits, and there's loads of good stuff in there.
I think it's fine. Like going back to the show notes and reading. So first, we're going to talk about this, even though we've talked for like 20 minutes already.
Yeah,
because it works as part of the humor as well. So what I was going to say was we were talking about watching videos and everything of Download Festival, weren't we? So we also want to extend it to any of you out there listening to send us your stuff. If you've got a YouTube channel or old videos hanging about on Facebook that haven't seen the light of day since you posted it, yeah, we want to see them. Well, I do at least anyway. Yeah. You might have already seen them. But yeah.
That's a good idea, yeah. People can send us and we'll put it up on our Facebook and all our other socials. It'll be cool, to have like a little community to share all the stuff that people don't necessarily see all the time. That'd be wicked. Anyone's videos or audios, anything from Download, really. It'd be cool, wouldn't it? It's just more of an insight from someone else's perspective, which is cool.
Definitely. Yeah. Well up for that. We'll go through all that in a little bit more detail of how you can send it to us at the end of the show, I think.
Yeah.
With all that said, with that short intro that we were going to do and then talk about ourselves, we First,
Keep it short.
we want to share a little bit about ourselves and let you know just who you're listening to, our history with Download, and then I think we should kick off with the question that brought us together that I said about that you asked on Reddit. If you're fine with that, have you done a video on YouTube about that yet?
No.
No? Are you cool with us using it?
Yeah.
Cool. Excellent.
Of course, man.
Awesome. Yeah. So we'll kick off with that after talking about ourselves. So did you want to go first?
Yeah. Well, yeah, we should probably just state how many downloads we've been to, which for some of us is more than others, obviously, because some people out there never been at all. So I think really we should, like you said, just explain our thing with Download. Well, I've been to 12 downloads before. My very first one was in 2005. And I didn't actually buy a ticket. My girlfriend at the time did for my birthday. My birthday's on the 8th of June. So that used to fall perfectly on the Download weekend. So most of my tickets were bought by my mum or my brother or whoever as birthday presents. So I got away with paying for one for the first 5 times I went, which was fantastic. I think I only paid for my ticket within the last 5 years because everyone was just buying them for me.
Nice.
So it was great. Yeah. And obviously she bought me a ticket. I obviously didn't know what to expect. I'd been to plenty of gigs before in London, like Hammersmith Apollo, Underworld and all that stuff. But festival-wise, I'd only ever been to one before, which was Party in the Park, which was in Hyde Park. And it was just, it was good. There was Madness played and some other people, but it wasn't like a proper festival. It was just a day thing. So I obviously went thinking, okay, I have no idea what to expect. And just dropped in straight at the deep end. I fell in love with it instantly. As soon as I walked through the gates, I just knew I was going to be coming back. I was like, This is incredible. It was everything I'd ever wanted. I was like, bands, loads of people like me, everyone just loves being here. It just felt like instantly right straight away. So then I was just like, this is sick. Yeah. So then I just started going regularly. Missed a few years, unfortunately, due to, money and other circumstances and stuff like that. Recently, I've tried to get to as many as I possibly can, and I don't see myself missing any more from here out. I'll probably try and get myself to, like I said, I was lucky enough to get a pilot ticket as well. So, but yeah, that's it really. I mean, it's a big part of my life. My mates take the mick out of me, like I was saying before last night. At my birthday barbecue, all my mates wore all of my Download merch. So they were definitely doing that to mug me off, but everyone actually enjoyed it in the end. So yeah, it's a big part of my life. I talk about all the time. Obviously, I do the YouTube thing as well. I do, about other stuff, but it's mainly Download. Just like this show's going to be. We talk about other stuff we want to, but it's mainly going to be about Download. It's such a big thing in UK culture, and it's worldwide now. You get people traveling from all over the world to come for it. It's crazy. So yeah, and then it's something that I've always wanted to talk about in more detail. And obviously then you came along and said, let's do this, man. And I was like, yeah, sounds like a great idea. We can finally talk about all the nerdy stuff, all those tiny little details that we can get into, man. I can't wait. I've got so much stuff. My head's ready to explode, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I won't babble on too much, but...
No, I don't know if you read what I wrote, but I wrote quite a bit more than that.
I can't really say much else.
Yeah.
I don't want to ruin anything.
Did you write it down, or are you just going from the top of your head?
Just top of my head. Favorite Download lineup, 2009. Worst Download lineup, 2008. Favorite Download festival experience, 2009. Least favorite Download experience, 2016.
I knew you were going to say
That's
that
it. Because it was rainy hell.
I haven't gone through that. I don't know which my favourites or least favourites are. So I'm not going to be able to say any of that. Talk us through your typical Download, Dan. Is there things that you do every year?
Yeah, typical Download for me is, well, normally I vlog it for YouTube, so I've always got a camera in my hand. So normally I do the shopping thing, so go and do a shopping video.
Yeah.
Get really excited about that because I love preparing, and I write these really concise lists, and I tick off everything and make sure that, I've got everything I need. But over the years, you kind of know what your itinerary is, but you've also built up all the stuff from the years before. So now you're just like, like in 80s movies where they do those montages where people put the knife in, put the gun in, put the grenade on. That I could do that I might do that for my video for the pilot, because it's literally like that. It's like a military regimented thing. Like, it's people Vicky watches me and just goes, "What the hell is happening?" I'm like, everything's just there already prepared. So yeah, I do that, and then when we go, I've only started driving, believe it or not, within the last 2 years, because being from London, you never need to drive.
Okay.
But since I've moved to Cheltenham, you need a car to get around just because it's the countryside. So
Yeah.
I've driven for the last couple of years, but before that, it would either be train, get a lift, or coach.
Well, the bus,
And
yeah,
that was
you
just
said, last
far
week
longer.
about that. Didn't
Yeah,
you?
getting the coach to download was an experience. Getting the train was much better. And obviously the best is either drive. The best is actually getting a lift so you don't have to drive.
Yeah.
But now I actually like driving myself. And from London, it takes ages to get there. But from Cheltenham, it's only like an hour and 20 minutes. So it's actually not that bad. Much better. So yeah, and then that, and then obviously I'm pretty much vlogging that the whole time. Well, like I said before, I'm going to do some like audio sound bites and stuff from the pilot that we can play on here.
Awesome.
So
Yeah.
I do like little reports and do some other things, man. So we
Cool.
can sort of get my day, and what we could do like a day of Simon at the pilot or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'll just do loads of little audio bits. Yeah, and then the first thing is I used to be so I was very strict about always camping in Blue Camp,
Yeah.
because I camped in Blue Camp from the very first time, and I kept that going the whole time. And then last year's new thing came out, and the whole site that used to be Blue Camp is now no longer used as part of Download. That bit's been sold off
Oh, really?
for works to build houses on. So the old Blue Camp crew, you will never be camping on that hollow ground again, because now they're using it as the car park until it's sold off. So
Are
if you
they?
come to South Car Park, you'll be parking your car on what used to be Blue Camp, and that made me cry a little bit.
Yeah.
I was like, the classic times. I used to know, like, I camped there that year, camped there that year. It's
Yeah.
going to be none of that anymore. It's going to be a fresh start from next year.
I know Blue Camp is quite big, but did you ever see? I'm sure there would have been lots of other people who made sure they got to Blue every year. Did you ever see the same people year on year?
Yeah,
that you
yeah,
met?
definitely.
Yeah.
The same as on Facebook, I'd be like Blue Camp, and everyone would be like, yeah. And there was 1 year when I didn't get in. Normally I would go to Download the first thing on the Wednesday, but there was 1 year I actually couldn't. And I got there on the Thursday and I had to camp in what was Yellow Camp, and it was on a hill, and it was horrible.
Yeah.
And I was just missing Blue Camp so much, but you just couldn't get a space in there. After a day, it's just absolutely rammed.
Yeah.
So that was the camp I was used to do. So next year, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just going to
Yeah.
look at the map and go, right, which one I think is best. And because I think they said they're keeping the layout the same from last year. So
Okay.
we'll talk about all that sort of stuff in more detail, because
Yeah.
there's the logistics of Download is an insane. That's a whole nother topic all by itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then obviously just spend the 2 days absolutely getting hammered at the tent. I do most of my drinking at Download, hardcore drinking, within the Wednesday and Thursday. Try not to go too hard on the band days, because I want to wake up and actually go and see the bands. But yeah, then I drink my arse off on Wednesday and Thursday, and then cometh Friday morning, the day of the bands, the most exciting day, the official start of the festival. Yeah, man, I spend all day in the arena, the whole day. I'll only ever come back to the tents if there's a gap in bands and I've spent too much money and I want to drink a couple of beers so I don't buy any more in the arena.
Yeah.
I am cheap. I will let you into that secret now. I am cheap. I will try and do stuff on the cheap if I can.
Cool.
And to be fair, I think everyone knows, I know they have to make money and we want the festival to do it, but some of those prices are just ludicrous. I'd rather take a 30-minute walk back to the tents, sink a couple of beers, and then walk back again. It's just not worth it. That money's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's too expensive. It's crazy.
Me and a friend bought bottles of red wine to drink during Guns N' Roses 2018, I think it was, and it was a wine bottle, £24 or £26 each, something like that.
Yeah.
It was
Mental.
insane, but it was really nice wine. I don't like red wine, but it was really nice.
Oh, I'm a red wine kind of guy.
Oh, are you?
I love red wine, yeah. I absolutely love it. I got bought a really nice bottle of Diablo Black Sauvignon for my birthday yesterday. So I'm looking forward to drinking that. Love a red wine, mate.
I think I might have bought that for my neighbour for her birthday, or
Really?
for Christmas, because it's a cool bottle. That's pretty much all I went on.
Yeah, it's got like a face on it. Like a devil's
I
face.
think so.
Black with like lines going across it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sick, man.
Awesome.
I love that. I love red wine. Yeah, I don't like white wine's okay. Rosé is disgusting, and red wine is the one. I'm sure a lot of people will agree with me. or not?
So I'm not a big fan of many wines, if I'm honest, but it's alcohol, so I drink it.
It's alcohol. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I know, literally, if I want to get drunk, I'll drink anything. I'm not fussy. If I
Yeah.
choose to drink something, then I'm going to pick something nice.
Yeah.
If someone goes, "This is a drink, thanks," that's gone. Whatever it is, that's just gone.
Cool.
Not fussy when it comes to that. Yeah, and so then I stay at the bands, see the bands all day as much as I possibly can, get as much out of that as I can. You know, what I normally do, what a good trick. Talk about this in more detail next time. Is I always get a really nice, good look at the stage after the headliner. When the headline is finished, right? If you stand still and let everyone go past you, you will almost have an entire clear field to yourself, and you can walk around. You can look at the stage really close. You can go right up to the barrier. You can have a chat with the sound guys. You can chat to the crew. And sometimes you even see the guys from the bands come back on stage. And, you could wave at them or try and call them over. I've seen that done loads of times. That is a really good trick to do at Download if you want to get a better look at stuff.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I've done it every year since like 2009 when we did it accidentally. And I was like, wait a minute. But anyone's here, man. We can just walk around and look at all this cool stuff and get a really good look at it. So I'd recommend people to do that. If I see people stop in, I might look at you and go, hey, I hope I gave you that idea because this is awesome. So that's always a good trick to do.
Until too many
But
people
I'll talk about that in more detail because there's loads of little weird experiences I've had from that.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, and then that's it. That's it, really. Then I go back to the tent, have a couple of drinks, depending on what bands are playing. Normally, if I get really excited by a set, then I end up drinking a lot more afterwards.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, yes, that was awesome, man. Oh, man. And then you start getting even more buzzed about it.
Yeah, cool. So you said about going shopping earlier. Do you take your own food? Well, I assume you must buy food in the arena if you spend all day in there.
Yeah, I try and limit myself, though, because you don't realise you can end up racking up some serious money at Download if you're eating out every day.
Yeah.
It's not cheap.
No.
So I eat breakfast at the tent, have a bit of lunch at the tent before we go, like just to get you ready. And then I'll buy my one main meal in there and then a couple of drinks. But some people I know have racked up like 200 quid in a day just from drinks and food. It's like, that is mental. That's almost the cost of your entire ticket.
Yeah.
So I recommend people to bring as much food as you can with you and just get some sustenance and that so you don't end up spending... Because, I've done Download on a £400 budget and I've done Download on a £20 budget.
Yeah.
So you get either end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
And it's just not worth spending all that money.
I've done it on £20 once as well. Yeah, that was... I worked out I could eat once a day because I didn't take any food with me either. I took beer. I took plenty of beer, but no food. So I ate once a day and that was it.
Well, they say, isn't it, having a beer is like having like 4 bits of bread, so you're all right.
Is it?
Just drink beer, you're fine. Just equate it to bread, and you won't think that you'll need food. You'll be like, oh, it's a bit of bread. Have a bit of bread, lovely.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. That's normally my sort of Download experience, and it varies from year to year. Some years I've got a lot more energy. Other years I like to just chillax more. It really just depends on what mood I'm in at the time. Some years I've gone mental. I've noticed as I've got older, I have chilled out a little bit.
Yeah.
But then occasionally the Download thing kicks in where you're in this little bubble and the rest of the world doesn't exist. And you can just do what you can stand up and shout whatever you want.
Yeah.
You can walk around looking like a mentalist and no one will bat an eyelid. And that sometimes that gets into your thing when you're like, I could literally do anything here and no one's going to say anything. This is great. And when you get that into your head, then you really start doing some crazy stuff. But it's good. Yeah. I love it. So what about you? Let's talk about you, man.
Yeah, I was going to piggyback off of the food thing and the food stalls because we're definitely going to go into more detail about that. I think we could probably do a full episode just on the food. Probably.
Definitely. Without a doubt.
That'll be a good one for the future.
Yeah, wicked. Well up for that.
There was something
Some
else.
great food at Download. We could literally... So much good stuff. And over the years, it's just gone better and better and better. And now it's like every meal you have there is just incredible. It's like, this is amazing. It's like, I'm so surprised at the quality of the food that they get. But they do anything. We'll talk about that in more detail at some point.
Definitely. Shall I read out my notes?
Yeah, you go for it, man. You go for it.
I was going to say, like, you did yours off the top of your head. You've obviously got a much better memory than me. I had to write mine down. I've written quite a lot. I think I might have gone into a lot more detail than you did, but we'll see how it goes. I might cut some bits out. I might just leave it all. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, you do it, dude. You do it.
So I'm Adam. I don't think I ever said. No, I did say that. Oh, fuck it.
Actually, I have a question for you.
Go for it.
Why is your name Skets?
Oh, that's just my my gaming name that I've had. Like
Okay.
I started playing World of Warcraft. I don't play it anymore. I played it probably about 14, 15 years ago, and that was my first character, Skets. And so it's been my character in my name in every game I've played since. Any game I play,
Okay.
yeah.
I thought it was like when people like do something with their last name. I thought your name was like S something, and then you've been like, yeah, but people just call me Skets or whatever.
No. My surname is Cox. But
there you go.
it's from Discworld. If you read any Terry Pratchett books, no. Well, it was a character called Skaz. I tried Skaz, and then it went to Scats, and then Skets, and Skets is the one that stuck. Really,
Nice.
it was just because the other podcast was a gaming podcast, and I thought if you watch any like on Twitch, or even like the casters use their gaming name, I thought I should probably use my gaming name.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
Well, you
the
don't mind
reason
on
why.
here if I call you Adam, then, do you?
No, I'm going to go as Adam. This is not.
Do you know what's weird? My brother's name is Adam, and he's a postman.
Yeah,
That is crazy. Because I told him we were doing it today because he was here because he came and stayed last night.
Yeah,
And I said to him, "Oh yeah, his name's Adam, and he's a postman." He's like, "That's crazy." I was like, "I know."
That's awesome. Yeah, I was
Mental.
just about to get into that. I think you mentioned I'm a postman twice, and I haven't yet, so
Yeah.
it's all good. I'm Adam. I'm 35. I'm from Somerset, and I'm a postman. I got 2 kids, Soren and Nova, who are 3.5 and 10 months. I'm a big fan of board games, although we don't really get a chance to play them anymore. So currently, I'm a huge fan of collecting board games. It's a thing in I don't know if it's in other sort of hobby worlds, but it's a big thing saying like collecting board games and playing board games are 2 separate hobbies.
Well, you can have just loads of them, but you're like, "Yeah, never play them."
Yeah, it's very true.
But I've got them.
Yeah. Music has been a massive part of my life as well. I've loved music as long as I remember. I used to sit and record the top 40 on a little tape every Sunday.
Classic.
Did you go through that? Yeah.
Did the same, man. Did the same. Loved it, mate.
Awesome,
I made
yeah.
some serious tapage back in the day.
Yeah, it's good. I haven't really listened to a lot of music in the last probably 3 years since I discovered podcasts, which is the reason why I sort of went into podcasting. Some of my favourite podcasts are Escape This Podcast, Room Escape Divas, Countdown to Classic, the Morally Grey Podcast, and Polyhedron Collider. They're all sort of, I think they're classed as living room or front room podcasts. I don't really listen to any of the big, like huge production podcasts like Joe Rogan or the one like Fozzy,
Chris Jericho.
Jericho one. Yeah, I don't really listen to them that much. No reason really, but yeah, I just prefer. Well, no, I just don't.
It's fair enough. Yeah. There's so many different variations and ways the show laid out and production values. I think with podcasts, if it's about a subject you're interested in, that's really all you need because you want to listen to what they have to say, so you're just going to listen to it unless they've got a really annoying voice, or they ramble on about other stuff too long. You're going to want to listen to it because it's going to be about something that you've gone to listen to from that in the first place. So
yeah, but I like how intimate they are. You know, you feel like you're there in the room with them. So hopefully you feel like you're in the room listening to us.
You're in the room with us.
Yeah.
That's right.
I did have another podcast, like I said, all about retro video games. It lasted for about a year. It's over now. I'll talk more about that at the end of the show. Music-wise, I studied music practice, I think it was, or performance, I think it was called, in college for about 4 years, and then went on to fail my first year at university doing music production. I didn't go back. That's a story for another day, I think. I've only been in... Oh, yeah, you never said about any bands or anything like that. I suppose you did say download history. I've gone into my history as well. But yeah, I've been in one band
Well,
in my life.
I'll be talking about that a bit anyway because it's so entangled with all the rest of the stuff that we're kind of doing.
Yeah.
I'll end up talking about that throughout the podcasts and what's happening
Cool.
and all that sort of stuff. So we'll get into that.
Yeah. Cool. But yeah, like I said, I've been in one band. I think that was about 2007, I think it was. We were around for about a year. I played bass. I've also dabbled a little bit in sound tech. A local covers band asked me to do the sound for them for about a year. I was nervous as hell to begin with, but once I got behind the mixing desk, everything just sort of came back to me. I expect you do a lot of stuff with mixing desks.
Yeah, all that sort of stuff. Oh, I done.
Yeah.
I was doing lighting and audio for at Harrow Arts Centre, which is like a place that I used to work. So I was doing lighting tech and sound tech for quite a while.
Yeah.
But you know, when you do local gigs, you've sort of got to know about that stuff yourself anyway. So
Yeah.
I kind of just learnt it over the years of playing in bands and making your own demos and stuff like that, and everything else is just self-taught.
Yeah.
And then watching a load of YouTube videos, and you know, I mean, like you, I wish I'd have studied music, but at the time when I was studying, I wasn't interested in the other side of music, just listening to it.
Yeah.
When looking back in hindsight, I really wish I went into it a lot earlier. Definitely. Well, probably one of my biggest mistakes, I would say.
Yeah. I only did it because it's what my friends were doing. At the time, I got a job. I did it for about 5 weeks. That was after 2 years of college. And I thought, I don't want to work full time yet. I can go back to college for free. I've got another year for free. So let's go back to college and do something. I was knackered working. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I bet,
I was
man.
struggling. So yeah, I just went back. They was all doing music. So I thought, I'll try and do some music as well. And it was strange how so much came back to me that I learnt in, say, primary school, or I think we did music the first 2 years of secondary school, and then I didn't take it for GCSE or anything. But yeah, I was surprised at how much actually came back to me.
Yeah, that's good, man. Stored in the memory banks.
Yeah, I did enjoy music theory as well, because I was good at maths, and music theory is basically maths, so I did enjoy that as well.
See, that's my downfall. Maths is my downfall.
Yeah.
Anything arts, I'll give it a smash, and it'll probably be half decent. But when it comes to mathematics, that was where I really, I definitely struggled with that. I'm not so bad now, but in school,
Yeah.
I was not good at
So
all.
I think we're pretty much the opposite then. I remember a maths teacher said to me, one of the reasons why I probably like maths is because there's always a right answer. And I thought that's probably true. You know, you haven't got to try and explain your conclusion of some science experiment. There's always a right answer. I'm not very good at artsy stuff because it's all subjective, if that's the right word. I think it's the right word, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
But I'm trying to get there.
I
Trying to
like
do
that. We
other
are the
stuff.
polar opposites, but then we make one together.
Ah, yeah. Oh, that's cheesy
Fit
as
in
hell,
like
man.
a jigsaw puzzle.
we need to use that as like the beginning of every single episode.
Yeah, sweet.
Let's talk about my history with Download Festival. So I haven't missed one yet until this year. This is
Ugh.
going to be my first
I
year.
mean, does it count against your
no,
total?
I don't think it counts.
I don't think it should.
But
I don't think it should.
before this year was cancelled officially, like the main festival, I wasn't going to be going anyway. So this was always going to be my first one that I've missed. So I'm
fair
fine
enough.
with it. I've come to terms with it now. My introduction to festivals was Ozfest in 2002. I went with my friend and his brother. The year after that, when Download began, my friend didn't come, so I ended up going with just his brother and his brother's friend. That was a bit weird. We shared a 4-man tent, the three of us, two adults as well. I think I was
Jesus.
like 16 and they were a few years older than me.
That must have been cozy in there.
It was cozy, especially because I didn't know them as well. It'd be like weird even if it's just people you know. But yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't really know them that well. But I think it was probably because Iron Maiden were playing, because Iron Maiden's been my favourite band pretty much all my life. And so I think maybe he asked me because Iron Maiden played the first year. Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
'cause I thought it was a bit weird going with my friend's brother, but not my friend. But
Well, yeah, at least you went though.
yeah, that's how it started. That was cool. When we met up for the chat last week, and I said to you about that I haven't missed one yet.
Yeah.
You sort of said that's a pretty impressive feat, didn't you?
Yeah,
But
definitely.
Honestly, it's more of a feat of fear of missing out. And a feat of endurance. You know, it must have been around 2009, 2010. I really wasn't that bothered about going. But the closer it got to the festival, the more I realised that I would just be miserable all weekend if I didn't go. So,
So you just felt like you had to just to, one, keep your streak going, and two, just be like, yeah, otherwise I'll regret not going.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I think I ended up getting a ticket from a tout that year as well. That's how late I left it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's a interesting story as well for another day.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely.
Since that year, there's been a few years that I wasn't that bothered about going, but I didn't want to break my streak, like you said. So for a few years, I went just because it was a good excuse to get drunk in a field with a load of friends, really.
I mean, that's the best excuse ever, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
I mean, you want to get away, you just want to go and get drunk with your mates, plus bands are playing. It's awesome.
Yeah. And like, I don't know if you've ever tried to arrange a camping trip or anything like that with a load of friends. It always turns out pretty rubbish because certain people can't make it. So you think, oh, maybe I should change the date of the weekend and more people can come. And then less people can come or something. Like, Download, just everybody makes the effort.
Yeah. But you can't change the date either. I mean, that's the set date.
Yeah.
If they can't do that date, they ain't going. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Don't have to mess around with all of it.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, yeah, that was awesome. I mean, for a while now, my partner drags me to go and see bands. You know, those years that I wasn't bothered about going, I pretty much stayed by the tent, and I was an idiot. For I think there was a few years I averaged seeing about 3 or 4 bands all weekend. I think I thought
that is ludicrous.
Shaking.
That's a crime.
Yeah, I don't remember the last time I got to the arena to see the first band. I don't remember at all.
I mean, that's fair enough. That is it's quite early for some people, especially if you've had a heavy night before. But I love the way that your missus drags you to see the bands. That's fantastic. Yeah. She's like not taking it at all. Like, no, you're going to see these bands.
Yeah, I'm glad she did. I enjoy going and being in the arena.
It's good, man. It's a great vibe when you're in there. It's so awesome. You could just spend all day in there. Just lay down on the grass if the weather's not too bad.
Yeah,
have a chill. Go do something else, watch a band. That's wicked, man. It's the best.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, but I was saying, like, it's cool. I wouldn't say it's a massive, amazing feat. It is a cool fact. But sometimes I try not to say it. I don't want it to be like a boast or like, I don't know what the right word is, but like, so that I have a story. So there was one time, being a postman, I deliver tickets sometimes, and I was delivering to this guy. He told me it was a ticket when I gave it over to him, and he said to me along the lines of being his first year, and I said, oh, that's cool. I haven't missed one yet. And then I walked away thinking, why did I lead with that? Why? That just sounds assholey. You know, that just sounds like, oh yeah, I'm fucking better than you. And so, like, I was cringing for ages. Just every time I thought about that scenario in my head, I was cringing. So, like, sometimes I try not to say it. Sometimes, but
mate, all I do is boast that I've been to 12 downloads.
Yeah.
I'm literally like, how many have you been to? 6. Pathetic. And then the people that have been to more than me are the people I'm like, oh yeah, you've been to more, have you? Yeah, okay, all right, calm down, easy.
But there is one thing I said to you last week that I want to say again. You've probably done more stuff in those 12 years than I have in 18.
Yeah, we agreed that. Yeah. There's some just
you've probably done more stuff in 6 than I've done in 18.
The most fun thing will be when we're both there together, because then we'll actually see how it's done from our perspectives in real life.
We'll hang around on the track on the way to the arena for a bit. You know, halfway. We'll meet halfway.
I'll meet you halfway.
Stay there.
Oh, that'll be good. We'll do that. We'll meet the halfway point.
That reminds me of another thing. The singing and the chanting on the way back after the last band. That could be another topic.
Yeah.
Because I don't really see that very often. I usually leave early
Definitely.
to get back to start drinking again.
That's fair enough, but it is fun to be in that. See, when I do that normal standing by the stage thing, you do that for a while, then you go, and then you end up catching up with the rest of the crowd,
Yeah.
and then you get involved, man.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like I forgot that it even happens until I think I did it. It must have been after maybe Guns N' Roses or somebody else in 2019, and I was like, I forgot they even did this. This is amazing.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I do that sometimes though. You leave before the last song because you're being clever.
Yeah,
So you miss all of the thing. But if it's a band that I don't want to watch till literally the last pluck of the instruments,
yeah,
then I will be involved in that crowd thing. And it's fun, man. It's fun. Everyone's so happy and jolly, and everyone's just going back to get drunk. It's just like such a wicked feeling. That's why everyone starts singing. I always have vivid memories of Iron Maiden, and they'd always play "Always Look on the Bright Side of Life."
that's what came to my head, and I'm thinking that
Yeah, you'd have the whole crowd singing it while walking back. It's awesome.
Yeah, awesome, man.
Love it.
That's something we need to go into a little bit more.
Definitely.
After saying about like I was only going because it was fear of missing out. The last the last probably 4 or 5 years, however, I have been saying like I'm not coming back next year. I've been fed up with the weather. I've just been like, fuck this, I'm not coming back next year. But I always still end up going, apart from this year, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the weather.
See, the weather doesn't get me as down half as much as it used to. Like 2019, the weather wasn't great and it was pretty wet. It wasn't like a drown load; it was brown load. So it was, a bit muddy, but not soaking. One of the best times I've had at Download. Unbelievable. And even better when it's been sunny and the weather was rubbish. But you just can't let it get you down. You just got to continue. Basically ignore it, do what you got to do to protect yourself from it, and then just keep on having fun. Don't let it get you down.
Yeah.
Because there was other people I was camping with and they were so moody and moany and all that sort of stuff. And they had a way worse time than I did when I went, I need a bit of water. It's fine. We're not going to die. Let's have a good time, man. Do you know what I mean? Who cares?
That's true, yeah. I just get fed up when you know your stuff is not going to dry out. If you know the sun's going to come out on like Saturday or Sunday, you don't really care because like you'll dry out eventually. But I think it was a year Slip it might have been the 2016. Did Slipknot play that year?
No, that was Rammstein, Sabbath, and Maiden. Maiden played on the Sunday.
I can't remember. But it was the year, I think Slipknot might have played on the Friday. And we got back to camp and it started raining during their set. I think it was Slipknot. I could be wrong. And it started raining during their set and everyone was looking at their phones and it was just rain for the rest of the festival. And I was just like, oh, this sucks. Like I said, if you know you're going to dry out, it's fine, but...
Yeah, rain's had some bad effects there. I'm going to have to tell you my Download 2016 tent collapse story at some point because that's when the weather really comes into play.
I think I had to go and get a load of more stuff in 2016. Yeah. But yeah, we'll talk about that a bit more at some point. We'll probably talk at length about the weather.
Oh,
well,
weather's a big subject for downloaders. It's something that's talked about frequently. So yeah, definitely.
Well, yeah, I did actually have written down that as I'm a postman, the first topic we cover, or the first thing we talk about, should be the weather. There was just a couple more bits that I wanted to talk about on my notes, but yeah, after that we'll get into the weather. Well, we've already spoken about the weather a bit, but we'll talk about it a bit more. Yeah. So, like I said, this year I'm not going. I wasn't gonna go because I just couldn't get it off work. This is the first time I couldn't get it off work.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I was, like I said earlier, it's always going to be the year that I didn't go.
I mean, it's an added extra. It's not a proper download, so you're not really missing a download. No. And I'm going, so we're going to have a presence there. So we'll get a vibe and stories. And I'll just mention quickly, unbelievably, you can still buy tickets for the pilot.
Can you?
I just checked.
That
is mental.
Yeah. That's ridiculous.
That is I can't believe it.
No.
Can't believe it. Me and the missus, Vicky, we were there. 2 minutes past 12, we had our tickets.
Yeah.
Because we thought it's just going to sell out straight away.
Because I messaged you, I think it was about 12 minutes after they went, no, maybe about half an hour after they went on sale, and I saw people offering their friend codes on Facebook,
Yeah.
and I was like, do I send him this message? It could be a godsend, or it could put him off. It could be like, fuck off, I'm really trying to get tickets here. I was like, oh, do I, don't I? And I just wrote it and sent it in the end. And you were like, no, I already got tickets, man. You know?
Yeah. No, thanks, dude. That was nice of you to think of me. But yeah, we got in straight. I think I was in the first 500. It said on there, you were in the queue. I think it was like we were like 496 or something.
Yeah.
So we got in there pretty fast. But the reason I done that was because I thought it was going to, it's only 10,000. It's less than 2,000 trees and less than Bloodstock.
Yeah.
How can it not be sold out? I know it's not a proper download. Maybe it's people being put off by the fact that it's a trial, and obviously people are just getting their first vaccination. Some people can't get it off work. It's too early, or people don't have the money. To be fair, it's at the end of June, not at the beginning, so no one would have been paid from June yet. You still be going off the money you earn in May. So I understand the difficulties with it, but I'm still flabbergasted that it hasn't sold out. Honestly, can't believe it. What if we go there and it's like me and 500 other people? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like we're the only ones that could get it off work.
Yeah, it's going to be insane this year. I bet it'd be so nice and intimate, and it'd be like with the two stages facing each other. Oh, I just want to say here, I had that idea about 5 years before Sonisphere did it.
Ooh.
I don't know if I saw it somewhere else, but yeah, I was thinking, having a festival where you have two stages each side, and you could have somebody's other band come on the other stage if they're close enough. So, like, say someone like Slash, who's been in a few bands, have one of his bands, and then have his other band walk out onto the other stage behind you, and they're like playing. That's what I was thinking.
Great idea.
Yeah,
you should have sued him. If only you'd written it down.
Yeah.
If only you had some documentation, we could have got a load of money.
Yeah, no, like I said, I the chances are I saw it somewhere else. There's not many.
Still, though, it's quite an idea to have.
Yeah,
Sonisphere is something we're going to have to talk about because that's so related to download. It's crazy. They affected each other so much before it stopped. Definitely going to have to talk about Sonisphere at some point.
Okay, that's not something that I looked into either. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because some bands would get booked for one, not the other.
Right.
Some bands would play both. Some bands wouldn't be able to. I think it affected Download's booking for it. If you look at Download and Sonisphere for a couple of years, there's a few years there when Sonisphere had a much better lineup than Download did.
Yeah.
Way better. Way more sort of high-rise acts. So it definitely affected Download without a doubt. That was big competition, I think. Definitely. The first few years anyway, until it fizzled out at the end. But
yeah, that is interesting.
Definitely.
Well, I definitely have to go.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah,
I was going to say as well for the pilot. I spoke to my brother about this, and my brother's another one that's been to he's probably been to 7 or 8 downloads, and he said, "Oh, I've seen people on Facebook saying that the pilot's going to be their first download."
Really?
Which is very strange because he said what I said earlier. When you go to the first one, then it's proper. You get dropped in at the deep end, and it's an experience because you're like, "Wow, this is like nothing I've ever had before." And it still will be amazing for these people. I'm not saying it won't, but there's going to be a huge difference between what it is at the moment and what it is normally.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a shock to people going to this one. And then if they end up going to next year's event, they're going to be like, their mind's just going to completely, because it's going to be another world entirely. Like there's a comparison. I'll send it to you. There's a comparison of the size of the festival. So there's an aerial picture and then it shows the pilot on the inside, and it's just tiny. The download is so big normally.
Yeah, Blue Camp. Well, all the camps where the arena where the arena normally is, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Ridiculous.
Right in there. So yeah, it'll be like 2,000 trees. I keep saying that, but it's that kind of festival. There's nothing between the arena and the thing. There's a couple of places, but you can literally just walk in and walk through, and I'm guessing it will be a very similar setup. So I'm intrigued. I cannot wait to get there and actually see what it's like, because I've got it in my head what it's going to be like, but whether that's how they're actually going to do it. And that map they've given isn't detailed, so there'll be a more detailed map to come out soon, which will give us more indications as to what's where, how they're setting it up and how they're doing it. So plenty to talk about with the pilot over the next few weeks, definitely.
Awesome. Yeah, we're just going to end off with a few statistics, and then get into the weather a bit more. Before the pandemic and 2020 happened, the last year that I didn't go to Donington Park was 2001. I've been every year since then. Every year I've got there on the first day of camping. So I've spent 84 days of my life at Donington Park. That's 12 weeks, almost 3 months.
That is that's crazy, dude.
Awesome.
That is crazy. Yeah. Oh man, that's mental.
And yeah, so on that note, like I said, seeing as I'm a postman, well, I've got this written down, but everyone knows we're going back to talk about weather now.
Yeah.
Seeing as I'm a postman, let's talk about the weather for a bit, shall we, Simon?
Yeah. Let's do it. You didn't read that from a note, did you?
No. So I have certain memories. I'm probably going to reiterate this a few times, but I've got certain memories that are probably not very true. It's just what happens over time. But in one of your, I think it was your YouTube video that you ranked all the downloads, and you said that the fifth year, which would have been 2007, was a bit overcast. But I've always said the first 5 years there was not a single drop of rain. It was sun, beaming sun all weekend.
Yeah.
But that goes against what. But you're probably true. I think I remember seeing a picture now. I haven't got many photos. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I remember seeing a picture where it was overcast in the background. So you were probably very correct, and I'm probably.
I can tell you the weather from every year I've been.
Really?
I remember all of them. Yeah.
No way. That's pretty impressive.
2005 was sunny, but not boiling hot.
Yeah.
2006 was an absolute scorcher.
Yeah.
There wasn't a drop of rain the whole time. It turned into a giant dust bowl. 2007 was slightly overcast with little bits of sunshine. 2008 it rained a little, but it was mostly overcast. 2009 was a scorcher, but it rained a little bit for one day. 2010 was overcast with breaks of sun. 2013 rained half and was sunny for half. 2016 was a complete flood and the worst one that I've ever been to. Yeah. Apparently the worst one ever. But it was like 2011 or 2012 was just as bad apparently, but obviously I didn't go. You can elaborate on that a bit more if you can remember.
Doubt it.
2017 was gorgeous, only a tiny bit of rain but loads of sun. 18 was sunny as well with hardly any rain, and then 19 was pretty much rain the whole time.
Yeah.
But I can guarantee you now that most of those are spot on. I always remember the weather from download. I don't know why.
Well, there we go. That's the weather covered.
Well, that's my memories of what it was. But like you said, because I think you said to me before, didn't you? When they started to move dates, the weather started to get worse. The further it went into June, weirdly, because you would have thought it was the other way round.
Yeah.
The worse the weather's been, because those first few, when it was right at the beginning of June, it was just gorgeous the whole time, wasn't it?
Yeah, and
it was lovely.
And I refused to go prepared for bad weather because of that. And I had some terrible downloads because I just refused to go prepared. I didn't want to take any wellies or buy any wellies. I think there was one point I was wearing a couple of beer crates on my feet, just walking around in the mud. I think that might have been 2008. You said it was a
So that sounds like something a novice would do, you know, not a well-rounded download like yourself. You'd probably be thinking, I got the wellies, I got the raincoats, I got the thing, I'm ready for sun, snow, rain, I'm ready for everything. But you were like, nah, can't be bothered.
No, it's going to be sunny. It will be sunny. It's always been sunny. It's not going to rain. Don't be stupid. And it was terrible. Yeah, I think it's that they moved it closer to Glastonbury Festival with the dates. And obviously everyone knows Glastonbury is a mud bath. So I think that's probably why you said it's a bit odd moving it forward in the year.
Yeah, I don't know why. There would have been some reason. It would have been like, you know, because of the track or the contract they had on it or whatever. There would have been reasons for them moving it slightly. Plus, they changed, you know, from the infield to where it's based now. So there was a lot of logistical difficulties, I'm guessing, in keeping it exactly the way they had it before.
Yeah.
Because I know we said we're going to do an episode on Monsters of Rock and talk about that, but I'm not sure when Monsters of Rock was. I know you said you've been to an Ozfest as well, and
yeah.
When was that? Was that when download would have been, or was that?
I don't know. I can't remember. I'll have to look that up when we cover it.
We can look that up. Yeah, we'll get all that.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
yeah.
it's just all the early ones. The weather was great, and
Yeah.
it turned, and now it's a complete lottery. I mean, most years you're going to have either overcast or showers. It's rare now that you go to a download and it doesn't hardly rain at all.
No.
It's just weird.
I'm not sure how true it is or how well I remember, but I think I heard that they moved it because a lot of people had exams in the first weekend of June, so they moved it so a lot of people, sort of college and school leavers,
Okay,
can go.
that
But
makes sense.
That could be just something I heard, or it could be true. I don't know. We'll have to.
Oh yeah, we can look into that a bit more.
Yeah.
But that sounds perfectly plausible because that makes sense. I mean, a lot of people that college, uni, and all that sort of stuff, they're going to want to go to download.
Yeah.
And they're not going to be able to do that if they've got exams and stuff. So that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because then you're kind of cutting off people going, and you don't want that. You want as many people to go as possible. So
Yeah. It could just be that those people benefited from it, not the actual reason why they moved it forward a week.
Hmm.
But we'll have to. But when we interview Andy Copping, we'll ask him.
yeah, we'll get there. Don't worry. We'll get him on. He's going to love it, mate.
Yeah.
He's going to absolutely love it. Talking of weather, what year did you struggle the most, if you can remember, when you were just like, this is just horrendous?
I think 2016, like you said, is the worst one. That's when, was it Red Camp? It's just flooded completely. It's the one that's got the metal tracks going down to it.
Yeah.
And it goes
Yeah.
up the other side. And at the bottom of that just flooded. I think we must have camped there in 2015, right in that bottom bit. And I was thinking, oh, thank God we didn't camp there again this year.
Yeah. That was bad.
Yeah, it was just filling tents up completely, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was awful. Yeah, it was that people's tents were just completely covered.
Yeah.
And you see, you don't think about that. When you're going to camp, you're so excited. You don't necessarily look at the lay of the land and go, oh, maybe I shouldn't camp there because it's going to flood.
Yeah.
Because it's just where, if there's room for you, you're going to camp there.
Yeah.
But note to self for everyone, don't camp in somewhere that's really low or at the bottom of a hill.
Yeah.
Because if it rains at download, and it probably will,
Yeah.
everything you have will be ruined.
Yeah.
So don't do it.
Yeah, I think it was 2016 when I put the tent up. Maybe I didn't peg down the inside room, or I pegged it outside of the tent, so I pulled it too far forwards. And we got back after the bands on the Friday, and the rain had just been rolling down the tent and then into the inside room. And we didn't realize until we got into bed about 2:00 in the morning. I was sent out to get more stuff. I think I found one shop open, and I was so glad that he was open.
I bet. Yeah, those shops at Download are cool, actually. They've got loads of stuff.
Yeah.
They're really good.
I probably would have been fine. I probably would have just got drunk and then passed out somewhere. But yeah, my girlfriend wasn't too happy that I'd flooded the tent. So yeah, she was like, go and get some more stuff.
Similarly to that, the same thing happened to me on the exact same Friday.
Yeah.
We came back to get some beers before Rammstein. So we came back to the tents, and obviously it had been raining the whole day at that point, since everyone always remembers it's when Baby Metal started playing. And then it rained from then onwards for the entire festival, apart from the Sunday where it stopped raining for a bit,
Yeah.
and a little bit on Saturday afternoon. But we went back to the tent, and someone had kicked the pegs out of our tent. So my mate, I go with Carter, his side was fine. We had one of the tents where it's got the middle bit and then a section on one side and a section on the other.
Yeah.
Mine was completely flooded. All my most of my clothes were soaked. My MP3 player was completely gone. I had it for years. I just had stuff on it, so I didn't have to bring a phone. That was gone. It got into all of my supplies of like Nurofen and plasters and all. That was all wrecked. My bag was soaking. My sleeping bag was soaked. That it was just like the worst thing to come back to.
Yeah.
And then we missed like half of Rammstein because I had to spend all this time trying to dry out what I had and getting all that. Yeah. So 2016 was just an absolute nightmare. There was just mud everywhere constantly. It was horrendous. Yeah, that was bad.
Do you normally take that tent? Because every year I've taken one of those tents that has the two rooms. And so I have a theory. I've never been broken into or stolen from. And I have a theory that it's because they don't know where to go in those tents. They don't know which side to go into. or something, maybe something along those lines. It could just be pure luck,
I used them all the years when I was going with Carter, but
Yeah.
now me and Vicky went in 2014 before we were going out. Before I didn't even know her then. We've only been going out since 2018. So 2019 we went to download and we bought like a massive Freedom Trail Sendero 4 beautiful tent. So now we've got this tent that you can stand up in and walk around in.
Nice.
But it wasn't cheap. But I thought, do you know what? I'm going to buy a proper sick tent
Yeah.
and I'm going to just keep it for years. So we've had that since 2019. So yeah, I haven't done the other thing. I've done it when me and Carter used to go because we could have a section each.
Yeah.
But now it's just one big giant tent. But you might be right about that. That's a good theory. I like that.
Yeah. 'Cause, yeah, it's just the smaller ones that they know everything's going to be in that one section in, like, they say, the small square 4-man tents. But like I said,
Yeah.
in the grand scheme of things, not that many as a percentage will get broken into, I doubt. So it could just be blind luck. But
Yeah, I think so.
theft is something we can cover in a big way as well.
Yeah, I mean, it does happen at download. Obviously, not as much as Glastonbury or Reading or any of the other big ones that I know are quite bad for it.
Okay, I didn't know that either.
But
maybe I would have assumed, actually, that Reading and Leeds would be bad. But yeah, not something I've looked into.
I don't think it's Leeds as much. I think it's Reading. I think Reading's always been well known for being one where you better put your shit somewhere decent because it will get nicked.
Yeah.
So,
okay. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, but we can have a chat and all about all that stuff because that's interesting. Seeing it from the police side, we can look at like arrests and then we can talk about the riots and all that stuff.
Yeah.
We'll do all that. That'd be wicked.
Yeah.
That'd be good subjects. Even more detail.
Yeah. What were we talking about? We were talking about 2060 or the weather
16.
in general.
Yeah. What year do you remember being like, Jesus Christ, this is just too hot, I can't take it? I mean, I don't know how you are with hot weather. I'm the sort of person that now I'm covered in heat rash because I was in the sun for an hour.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, my body just doesn't... I'm like pale goth boy, I can't... my skin's just not made for it at all. So yeah, is there any years you remember going, Jesus, this is just a scorcher?
There is now. I was about to say no. But because I think when I was quite a bit younger, the first few that were really, really hot, I was a bit younger. I think I dealt with them fine, and now I'm a postman. I think I'm used to the sun. I'm out in it all the time. I tan really nicely. I've got big tan lines on my socks actually, though. Trying to get them done.
That's true. Yeah, your line of work, you must be in the sun pretty much constantly.
Yeah, I've been for a while. But I mean, when I first started, the summers weren't anywhere near as hot as they are now. The last 3 or 4 years have just been crazy. I think we had a heat wave that lasted 60 or 90 days, something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was 2018.
Was it?
That was mental.
Yeah. After that,
all the grass all the grass in the country went yellow. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Because it just killed everything because it was so sunny. Yeah, that was crazy.
And didn't that heat wave start the day download finished? I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because download wasn't a heat wave. It was okay that year. 2018 was pretty decent, but it wasn't like mental.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But yeah, typically, of course, it probably started after download. Yeah.
But yeah, now you've said that, I'm trying to think. There was one year, I think it was the Wednesday or the Thursday, and I was sat out. We didn't have a gazebo at that point, and I just couldn't take it. Like, I had to get. I think someone went and bought a gazebo, so we had a bit of shade around our campsite. Yeah, I can't remember what year that was, man.
Probably, if it was one of the early ones, like I said before, 2006 was almost unbearable.
Yeah.
It was the problem. The thing people don't always think. People always say, "Oh, I want it to be absolutely scorching at download." You don't want that.
No.
You want at download slightly overcast with breaks of sun, because the thing about having sun at a festival is there's nowhere to hide.
No.
You can't get out of it, and it's just hot constantly. It is not good to have a blazing hot download because you get dehydrated really quickly. It makes you feel more tired.
Yeah.
It proper knackers you out in the evenings as well. You don't want full blast sun the whole time. It's just as bad as having rain, if not worse, because you'll just be killing yourself every day and probably not drinking enough water.
It probably is worse, I would say. Because you can't think properly either, can you? It's like if you've been out in it for a few hours, just like you just can't function at all. in the sun, and
No.
that's what I was like that time. I was saying,
Yeah, well, I remember I've said this before on YouTube that I always remember my mum doing this after 2006. I came home and I'd already showered because when we came home we were just because it was so dusty that year. You know, we'd done the baby whitewash and all that,
Yeah.
but it was so dusty. Everyone just looked dirty that whole year
Yeah.
because every time you stepped somewhere, dust came up. So I had a shower and I came in and Mum went, "You still look dirty. Have you not showered?" I was like, "Mum, this is a tan. I'm tanned for the first time." I was completely brown because there wasn't a cloud in the sky the entire weekend.
Yeah.
And it was one of the only times when I've just gone fully brown. My mum could not believe it that it wasn't dirt. It was literally a tan just because the weather was so insane. But I always remember her saying that to me. "You look really dirty. Have you showered?" I'm like, "It's a tan.
Yeah.
I'm actually tanned. That's how much I've been in the sun." Mental. And the only other one I've tanned at was 2009, which was, again was really incredible weather, apart from where it rained a bit on the Friday.
Yeah.
But that's the only other. I think that's the 2 times I've been tanned in my entire life
Yeah.
at Download.
I don't know if it's probably a story you've heard, but at Ozfest 2002, Cradle of Filth. Have you heard about their rain cloud?
No, I haven't heard that.
No? Oh, okay. So I've heard a few people talking about it since. But yeah, basically, as they came on, this big rain cloud in the sky, it was black. And it just poured down for the whole set. And as soon as it stopped, it was gone. And it was sunny for the rest of the day, I think.
Oh man,
And
I bet they loved that.
He came on and said, "We bought this rain cloud with us," that sort of thing. It was so good. But I was going to use that to springboard onto another topic. We can go back to weather after, but
I was going to say you just triggered my memory of one thing for weather.
Go on.
I'll say it quickly before I forget it. In the Slipknot Left Behind video, halfway through the video, it starts raining during the middle 8 of the song.
right.
In 2005, was it 2005? It might have been 5. I can't remember what year it was, but I remember specifically looking at someone going, "Is this actually happening?" It wasn't raining. There was clouds, but it was no rain clouds, right?
Yeah.
The exact part of that song, Left Behind, when he started singing the bit in the video where it rains, it started raining. And it only rained for the rest of that song, the entire set.
Really?
And that stuck in my memory. And I remember saying to people, "Have you seen the video?" I'm like, "It's raining this bit of the video." I don't know if anyone else experienced that, but that definitely happened.
Yeah.
I
That's
remember that. I
awesome.
remember thinking, "This is crazy, man. It's only raining during this part of the song. Like,
Yeah.
that's insane." Like, that was mental. I'm sure there's loads of other things like that, but I've seen a few bands. I can't remember from memory what they are, but I've seen a few bands get rained off where they've just had to just get off the stage
Yeah.
because it's just too wet. And the other one, which is mental, I don't know where we would really fit this in because it's not weather related. Static X in 2009 couldn't start playing their set because there was a swarm of bees in the crowd.
I read about that. Did I read about that, or have you talked about that in one of your videos?
I talked about that before, yeah. And they were literally going around in a circle, like a bee circle pit.
I've never
And
heard
their
of that.
set was 2 songs shorter because it was literally it was massive. There must be a video of it online. I'm pretty sure there is.
Yeah.
And just bees absolutely everywhere, and
That's-
people just running away from the stage.
Ridiculous,
It was mental.
yeah. And I had never heard of that. I'd never heard about that at all. And
Yeah,
so
it
that
was-
can
it was-
springboard into 2 different things, actually.
Oh yeah,
As I was saying about Cradle of Filth and that rain cloud, obviously that was a long time ago. I've heard people talking about that over the years, like just sort of passing or just being stood behind them and they're telling their friends about them. What I have never heard is anybody talk about seeing Metallica at the very first download. I've never heard it. I've never heard anybody talking about it. So obviously these next few weeks we're going to be focusing on the pilot, but after that I do want to see if we can get somebody on just to chat to us about Metallica that first year, if they saw them, especially if they were there right from the beginning as well.
yeah.
If they were there to see the other band and they just saw Metallica come on. Because at the time, I was just sat watching Evanescence. I think on the sort of hill on the left-hand side of the stage, I just sat there and saw loads of people
Yeah.
running past me. And I was like, what's going on here? They're just late for something. They really want to see this band, apparently. No idea it was Metallica.
You should have ran because you're like, they must be good if people are running. You should
Yeah.
probably follow them.
Yeah. And what was the other thing? You said about Static X.
Yeah, bees,
Yeah, bees.
circle pit,
I don't know. It's gone. Oh, yeah. And
songs.
so the other thing is, one thing, obviously, we're just two guys who have, we've seen a lot at the festival, but there's bound to be so many other things that we've not even heard about. When I was talking to a friend in work about this, I said, we're thinking about doing this podcast about Download Festival, and he turned to me and said, "Oh, you can talk about Bash the Bishop." And I was like, I have no idea what Bash the Bishop is. But that is a perfect example, because that's stuff that we can learn about. That's stuff we can get other people on to talk about.
Yeah,
because there's so much that we've missed. Another friend of mine, you said you're very really into football. Another friend of mine played for the Boardies team. They always used to have a football tournament.
Oh,
didn't they?
yeah.
Yeah, and he was always on the message. Was it message boards on the forums or something?
Oh, the download forums, yeah.
Yeah. So
there's still people on there. I was on there not long ago.
Really?
Chatting to some people
Awesome.
on there. Yeah, it's obviously dwindled since back in the day. There was always people on there, but obviously social media's taken over now. Most people just talk on Facebook or obviously Reddit, but yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, there's so many things we can do with this. I was not expecting to talk about the weather for such a long time. I thought it was going to be just a fun little joke because I'm a postman, but I didn't realise I have an expert on weather.
Well, I'm sure
so.
it's always going to be a topic, so it's going to be spread out within our podcasts, because if we talk about download, you kind of have to talk about the weather anyway. So
yeah.
We'll probably be talking about the download weather till the end of time. Do you know what I mean? Till download ends. So it's always going to be there.
Yeah, and you'll be there to record it.
Yeah. For some reason, I can't remember nights out or when I've had probably the best time of my life, but I can remember what the weather was like at download. Great. Maybe that's my crap superpower.
Superpower. There's a subreddit for that. I'm sure there is.
What, my crap superpower?
I think there's awful superpowers or something along those lines.
Oh, that's good. I'll have to check that out.
Let's see what else we've got over in these show notes. I never answered the questions that I asked you, but never mind. That's fine. We've been talking about ourselves for a long time now. Let's get into the pilot. So, like I was saying, obviously I'm gutted. I can't go. I didn't think I was going to be able to go until you messaged me, and I got excited for an hour. So I haven't really looked it up. So you could probably take the lead on this one, and I'll chime in.
Yeah. Well, it's a pilot event. If you don't know what that is, basically it's a government trial of testing and procedures to do with COVID to see how it spreads between people, if it does spread at all. Apparently, after the first couple of pilot gigs, going to a gig is no more dangerous than going to the supermarket. You have the same chance of catching it there as you would anywhere else. So now they're doing them on a bigger scale. The ones they've done in Manchester and other ones were a bit smaller. They were, I think it was a rave and something else. Yeah, but they were just smaller. I think they were probably 2,000 or 3,000 capacity. But obviously, Download is a 10K, so it's quite big. It's obviously slightly less than some festivals' full sizes. So yeah, it's basically there to do and test that. So you have to have a couple of COVID tests before you go. So you have to do the PCR test and the other one, the lateral flow test. And you have to do a questionnaire and fill out all the stuff and put all your details in. And then you have to do the same once the festival's over, so they can test transmission and see if you've caught it while you're there. So yeah, it's basically a smaller version of Download. And obviously less bands, only 2 stages. And like we were saying before, the tent's right next to the arena, which should be interesting. So you might be able to just sit at your tent and listen to the music. It might be like it's right next to you. Don't know how loud it's going to be there. So that should be another interesting thing.
Yeah.
Just to see, can I really hear it? Because, I mean, it's so loud sometimes you can hear the bands from the tents when you're absolutely miles away, when you're on the other side of the track.
Yeah.
So I can't even think about what it's going to be like when you're camped right there. But the stages, the speakers and nothing, the setup won't be as big. You're not going to have the normal Download main stage for this pilot. It's going to be a far smaller stage setup. So that's going to be interesting to see how they set that up, how it's going to look. Is it going to say Download on it? Are they going to use the big totems that they have on the side of the stage normally and all that stuff? So that'll be wicked, man, to report on and actually get an idea of what it's actually going to look like and how they're going to set it up. It's just so interesting.
Yeah.
It's just going to be so interesting, isn't it?
Definitely. I would love to see what it's like. You made me think then, though. Obviously, I did read up a little bit about it. I'm not coming in here blind, because I'm not going to do a podcast about a festival and then just not know about the news or what's coming up. But I knew you'd have to do a lateral flow test and one of the PCR tests. But are they just going to let people in no matter what? I had it in my head thinking if you've got COVID, you obviously can't go, but it's to see how much it transmits. So are they just going to let people go?
I still don't think. The problem with the testing is I don't think it's completely accurate anyway.
No.
I think I can't remember what someone said to me. If you contract it within 2 days of the test and you do a test, it won't recognise that you've actually got it. It's all basically, I think what they're trying to do is just sift out anything like that. They just let everyone go, do a test.
Yeah.
Some people might have it and it might not show up in the test.
Yeah.
To see how that basically just doing it in a real life situation.
Yeah.
To just see what happens. I've had my first vaccination already, so some people there, the younger people, unless they've gone to the ones that are opening up now where people can go, they wouldn't have had any. Where people that are in their mid-30s would have either had 1 or 2, or people older would have had 2 or 1. So that's an interesting statistic to see what happens with that. If people that had 1 contract it quicker, or people that don't. It's just so many factors to it. It's crazy. Yeah. I don't know how they're going to collate all this data. I would be so interesting for us to discuss the findings afterwards.
Definitely.
And really look at it and actually see what happened, because it is just, it's basically an experiment, and they've done it at Download and put music in it, so we just go. We are essentially the lab rats.
Yeah.
But they've just sort of concreted over it with like, it's a festival, it's Download. You love Download, don't you? You like bands? You like bands? Go on, you go. Be my guinea pig. I'm like, yep, that'll be me. I'm willing.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the things I was trying to look up yesterday when I thought I might be able to go was can you go if you were previously shielding? It said that you have to read the consent form. I couldn't find a consent form, so I don't actually know. But what I was getting at a minute ago was they're doing all these tests, but not to sift people out, not to say if you're positive you can't go. It's to find out exactly how many people have got it going into the festival, right? I would have thought so.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't filled out the questionnaire bit yet, so I don't know what happens if you've got it. I mean, I wouldn't think they'd want you to go if you had it.
No.
But that is also a possibility to, like you said, to see how it spreads.
Yeah, because if nobody's got it who's at the festival, there's no data to analyse, really, is there? So I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe they're going to, shoot it out in tubes and just say, listen, who can we test this on? Bunch of Grebos. Yeah, let's do it.
The bands come out.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I have no idea.
Those, like T-shirt.
Like a T-shirt cannon. Yeah. But just with COVID in it.
Oh, I don't know if we should be joking about this. I don't know if we can put this out.
No, sorry, no.
I see. I don't know.
No, but we're not discussing the fact that COVID's funny. We're discussing the fact of that it's funny that I am essentially going to be a lab rat.
Yeah, that's true.
Which we all are. That's what it's going to be, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's going to be weird. It's going to be very strange to see.
What about bands?
Band-wise, I've actually got the lineup in front of me. The lineup's awesome. I think a lot of people as well were upset because it looks more like a 2000 Trees or another festival. I think it's because most of them on here, they're all British bands.
Yeah.
And they're all kind of newish bands. And I've seen a lot of the sort of old guard on there.
Yeah.
Sort of complaining about that and saying, what's this? Who are all these new bands and stuff like that? Just typical mentality that a lot of people have towards the festival. The festival has to move forward, otherwise it will die. You can't have the same bands playing year in, year out.
Yeah.
You will get stale and you won't have a festival anymore. It's as simple as that. But I was excited about it because you've got Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes headline on the Friday, and they're awesome. A band that I've been listening to a hell of a lot more in the last few months. They're great.
Yeah.
Enter Shikari, a band that I've loved for a hell of a long time, headlining on Saturday. And Bullet for My Valentine, who I still don't understand how they aren't huge, because they've got like 18 million listeners on Spotify alone a month, but they just don't seem to headline any festivals or play any big shows like other bands do that have a lot less followers than them. So it's really awesome to see Bullet for My Valentine headlining.
Yeah.
And interesting to see what they do with the show. And maybe this is like a a little trial for them to see if this goes really well. They could headline the second stage at Download in a couple of years or something like that, because they're always like second, but they never headlined it.
Yeah.
I won't run through all the bands, but the other bands I'm really looking forward to: Sleep Token, incredible. Holding Absence. What else have we got? Skindred, love Skindred. Loathe, and Elvana. Do you know about Elvana?
No.
When I say to you Elvana, what do you think of?
Elvana. Part of Nirvana?
There you go. Okay, so dig this, right, for a concept. These guys played in 2019, and it was one of the best things I've ever seen. They play Nirvana songs, but the singer sings them as Elvis.
I have heard of them, actually. Yep.
And it was one of the most I love Elvis and I love Nirvana.
Yeah.
And I said this in my vlog at the time, so I said, this is perfect. And then when we went to watch them, it was the singer is hilarious. They don't take it seriously. You know, they sing the songs, but he was just having a laugh the whole time, just joking around with the crowd and all that. It was one of the most entertaining things I've seen at Download. I would recommend anyone to go and watch them if you want to have a really good laugh and listen to something that's just so weird that it actually works. It's crazy. Yeah, they're great. They're worth it. So yeah, there's quite a few bands I'm looking forward to. So I'm happy about that. And if I'm not watching one band, I'm the sort of person that will go and just check out someone, just see what the crack is.
Yeah.
I'm a good discoverer of new bands. I like to hear new music, so I'll go and check some people out and do the crack, man. But yeah, all British and pretty much all, young, newish. The oldest bands there are only 15 years old, something like that. So,
really?
So, well, yeah, the oldest band there, who is it? Probably Shikari or Bullet.
Yeah.
Bullet, what they were like 2004 was their first thing. So probably Shikari. So, I mean, you wouldn't consider that old. I mean, bands like Maiden have been around since the 70s. So all of these bands on here are really new if you think about it.
I suppose, yeah, relatively new compared to, like you said, the old ones. Did I see A on there? Is that a different band?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, A.
They're old and American. Are they American? I thought they were American.
No, A are British.
Are they?
Yeah. Yep.
Ah, I probably would have found that out, but I've never been able to find them on Google because they're so hard to find.
Typing in A.
No, yeah, no, I didn't know they were British.
Yeah, they are, yeah.
I liked their two songs, Nothing in Starbucks, but I don't know.
Oh, yeah. And what was the other one?
They didn't have another one, did they? Well, they've been living off of those two songs for like 20 years now.
Well, I think they're one of those bands that...
That sounds harsher than it. I actually mean, I don't have any.
I'm pretty sure they have like a big sort of cult following that people that like follow them around all the time. And I know they took a break for a while, but they have been making music, I'm pretty sure.
No, like I said...
I'll have to go and check out some stuff out.
Sorry, for listeners and for you, I didn't mean that to be anywhere near as sarcastic as it came out.
Yeah, well, I wish I was in a band and I could survive by living off two songs, so I'd be happy with that.
Well, it'd be like Butterfly and do it on one song.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember
Crazy Town. They got some good tunes, man. Revolving Door. It's a big tune. Yeah, they got a few good ones. Cool. I liked that album they released. What one was that? Crazy Town. The one that had Butterfly on it. Can't remember the name of it, but it was pretty sick. I liked it. That's old school, man. My God, what was that? 2001 or something?
Something like that, yeah.
2000 even, maybe.
I looked at the lineup. There wasn't too much on there that I would be interested in, but I think this is another thing I feel like I need to say. I obviously doing this podcast, I think it will get me more interested in music and different bands to what I was before. Like, I haven't really got into any new bands for about 3-4 years now. I feel like I've got to be in the right kind of mood. But then I had the same with my other podcast. I'd not played a retro game. I'd not played a Mega Drive game in years. And we were doing that for a year, and I was loving retro games all again. So I'm actually looking forward to getting back into music. I feel like I've had a break from music by being into podcasts for about 3 years, and now I'm getting back into music in a pretty big way, I feel. Like I said, with this podcast, and I'm going to be interested in more stuff.
I like this. We can rekindle your love for music.
Yeah.
That sounds good, man.
Yeah, definitely.
It's going to be interesting. We can open you up to all this new stuff. We're going to blow your mind.
Yeah. Because Because I've said for a little while now, actually, I would probably be better off going to Bloodstock than Download. I know it's a bit weird to say while doing a podcast on Download Festival, but I feel like at Bloodstock, because it's a bit heavier, I would be able to walk into any tent or any stage at any time. I'd be able to appreciate the music a bit more because, you know, I don't know, with heavy music you just sort of, I feel it a bit more than others. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. Well, I've got a Bloodstock ticket as well, so we'll cover that.
Yeah, cool. I've never done any festival other than Download, but I have. That'd be lying. I don't really have the money or the ability to get time off of work to do much other stuff than Download. I've always wanted to do Glastonbury, just for the experience, just to say I've been there. After our talk last week about seeing bands, no,
just to say you've been there.
I think it would be a good experience, just to experience it at least once. But there's no way I'd be able to afford Glastonbury as well as Download, like I said, and get the time.
Also, with Glastonbury, they do the whole ticket pool thing, and you have to be in the pool to get a ticket, and all. It's not, you can't just go and buy one. It's a whole other world when you try and get a Glastonbury ticket.
Where I'm from, we've got a carnival, like a illuminated carnival, and a lot of the carnival clubs get tickets for Glastonbury to do the security. So I know a lot of people who end up getting tickets for free. They've got to do a couple of shifts, but yeah, they get Glastonbury tickets for free.
Oh, so that might be a good way in one, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure I would. If I tried to get one, I would have been able to get one from someone. Like I said, I might have to do a bit of work, but yeah, I wouldn't be able to afford to go anyway. I don't think.
Yeah,
afford the beer.
Yeah, that's a. You know, it's just like Download. It's a whole, you can end up spending a ridiculous amount, and tickets aren't cheap, and like I said, it can escalate very quickly, and you can end up spending your entire 3 months' wages, do you know what I mean, on one thing, and then you got to think about you'd want to go to Download, or you'd want to go to Bloodstock, and then you're thinking, spending all your money on festivals, it's, especially when you've got other stuff to pay for. It's all right if you're living at home.
Yeah.
If you've got your own house and kids and you got to do work as well, it's a lot more difficult.
Yeah, definitely. Shall we move this on? Is there any more you want to say about the Download pilot?
I just want to say I'm really excited, and I'm still surprised it hasn't sold out, considering we've had no Download for 2 years.
Yeah, no, that's crazy.
But that's it. But yeah, I'm, like I said before, I'll do a report. I'm going to do a vlog on YouTube and all that. I'm going to try and document as much as I can, so me and you have as much to talk about as possible, because I'm sure I'm going to have a lot to say when I get back.
Yeah.
You know, because it's just a brand new experience, and hopefully something that never happens again, and we get a normal Download next year, and it might just be a one-off that only 10,000 people got to go to. So
yeah, definitely. I think, did we say we're going to try and record every 2 weeks, something like that? Yeah. So are you going to be going home early to come and record this? No. No, so no, that's cool.
We can do it. We'll probably have to do it another day.
We'll work.
Well, it's up to you. We can do it just before I go, or we can do it when I get back. Yeah, it's up to you.
We'll work something out. I was only joking. I hope you have an amazing time. I'm sure I'll speak to you.
I'll be keeping in contact with you, man. I'll be sending you videos and pictures and all sorts. I'll be keeping you updated the whole time, and I'll be doing some little audio snippets that we can probably play on the show as well. Yeah. So if anything really interesting happens, I'll do like a live report from Download. Yeah, I'll try and get some good little audio clips that we could play, man.
That will nicely lead into... So for this next section, you normally try to get like something that rhymes or alliteration, but I couldn't think of anything. So this next section is called Campsite Fuckery. So this next section is going to be all about you guys, if I'm honest. We'll start with a couple of stories each this week, this episode. But we want you to write into us and just tell us some stories, some funny or strange stories that you can think of that happened to you in or around the campsite. You'll be able to find out at the end of the show how to get... No, we don't have a way to get hold of us yet. there, there'll be links up in the show notes of how to email us or whatever. You'll be able to find us on Facebook or Twitter or all the main places you'll go to find someone, and just to send us your stuff. So I said a couple to you last week. There was another one I remembered. Honestly, I can't remember what year it was. I think it might have been it might have been 2007 when the riots happened. Was it 2007? Whatever.
That was 6.
It's actually quite irrelevant what year it was. Okay. I'm not very good at telling stories. With the fact that I'm editing, I can put the stories in the correct order after the fact. So it's all good. So there was a guy that came with us. His name was it's Chris Dawson, but we called him Fluff at the time. I don't actually know why people called him Fluff, but he took, one of those granny trolleys.
Yeah.
He took one of them full of Guinness. It was just full to the brim of Guinness. And he didn't go to watch the headliner one night. And we got back after seeing them. And he was just passed out in a chair, holding this can of, probably half a can of Guinness. And he was passed out. There was no way we could wake him up. But he would not let go of this Guinness. I think people were pushing him over, trying to take it out of his hand, and he would just crush the can, trying to keep hold of it. He would not get this Guinness out of his hand. I think they sort of ended up piling a load of chairs on him. And yeah, this is what it was like when I was recording on my own. I tried these stories, and the stories would just fizzle out, and I didn't know how to end them at all. I really didn't. I was like, yeah, that was cool. But yeah, that was pretty hilarious. He just would not let go of this.
Yeah,
Guinness.
that's good, man. He really did not want to let go of that Guinness.
No, I don't know how.
How could you drink Guinness? I love a Guinness here and there, but you couldn't drink Guinness constantly. Jesus, the guy must have been bloated to hell.
Yeah, I think he did drink a lot that night, a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
Have you got one?
Yeah, well, I was going to talk about Smiley Face Man.
Okay.
This is like a known... Basically, in 2009, we went with the biggest group of friends we've ever been with. There was literally 30 of us. There was so many people. So my friend Leader started doing this thing called Join the Line. We started walking around the campsites and just shouting, join the line. So people would just join us, and then we'd walk around in a massive group. And then this guy joined us. He must have been about 6'4", 6'5". He was really tall guy. But we never saw his face. He just had like a costume on. It was weird. It was like a fake superhero costume.
Right.
And then he had like a smiley face mask, but it was made of like felt or something. It was really weird. And he made a little hole, and he just stuck this little horn through it, and he was just going. Didn't say anything, didn't do anything. So we just all started calling him Smiley Face Man. So he was walking with us the whole time, blowing this horn, and people were just following us and following us and following us. And I've got pictures of literally 60, 80 people in this picture, and I didn't know any of them, but we were all walking around together, just chanting, join the line. But this guy was like the leader of the pack, and he's in all the pictures.
Was it like a conga or just walking behind each other?
Just walking in like a giant like group, just walking all around the campsites, not doing anything particular, just walking around and chanting, drinking, passing stuff around, asking other people to join us. And this guy was at the front with a horn, just
Awesome.
And he's in all the pictures. We just called him Smiley Face Man. We still talk about him now. And to this day, no one knows who he was. No one saw his face. No one died. If anyone can identify Smiley Face Man, or if anyone else met him in 2009, or anyone knows who he is, please come forward, because I would love to meet this guy, because he was just fantastic. It was just brilliant, and he made it so awesome doing his little people could just hear it. They just joined us.
Awesome.
Didn't say a word, just walked around. Yeah, so that's the story of Smiley Face Man, the unknown legend of 2009.
That is very cool. You've just reminded me of a couple of things, actually. I did say we've got a couple of stories each. If you've got another one, then you can say it after. But otherwise, we can cut this bit short, and I'll move on to something that I wasn't even prepared to say, but I need to say them now, because the first thing you made me think of was it was actually Sonosphere, so it's a kind of a similar story. But me and this other guy, we were running a bit low on alcohol. And he managed to get this watering can, and it was pretty genius. He was doing it first. I just joined him. I tagged along. And he was going around to people saying, "This is the greatest and best drink in the world. Contribute." And people were pouring their alcohol into this watering can, and he drinks some, they drink some, and he just filled this watering can up with alcohol. It was genius.
That's amazing.
Yeah. The other thing...
That's great. I've never heard of anyone doing that before. That's mental.
No, it was, like I said, it was Sonosphere, so I wasn't actually going to bring it up, but you reminded me, so I thought I should, because I'll probably forget about it and never bring it up ever again.
No, that's a good story, man. Well done. I'm glad you unlocked that one.
Yeah, you unlocked it, thank you. The other thing I want to talk about is, so we've got this picture in our friend group on Facebook of a similar thing to the smiley face man. No one knows who it is. It's a very old picture. It's very grainy. It's sort of almost nighttime as well. And every year when it comes up on whoever's Time Hop, is it called Time Hop still? No.
Yeah, the Time Hop things. Well, I don't know. Is it? I don't know. The memories, it's just the memories thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and every year it comes up, and they sort of comment on it saying, "Has anybody remembered who this was yet?" It's not a very good photo, so I don't think posting it will help us to find out who it was. But I did want to do a section along those lines. I was going to wait until episode 2 to do it, but I've seen it done on Facebook, and Facebook is probably a better place for it than here. But have a section where people can write to us to find people that they met one year, or something along those lines. Like I said, there's more people on Facebook. It's probably a better place for it, but there might be certain people who aren't on Facebook, so we can have it here. Because I have a story very similar. I'll paint a picture for you. I was going to look it up before next episode because I wasn't going to say it, but I think the year that System of a Down played, around 2009, was that 2009 they played? 2008? Can you remember?
It was 2005.
It wasn't that long ago, I don't think, was it? Have they played since? I can't remember. Oh, we gotta do some Googling.
Yeah, because I'm gonna need to know now. They played in 2005, 2011, and 2018.
Okay, it was probably 2011 then. It could well have... No, there's no way it was 2005. So, like I said, I'll try and paint the picture. You're walking across the stage. You're probably about where the screen is, back into the crowd.
Okay. Yeah.
There was no screen at this point. And you're walking past an ice cream van just to the right of the stage, and you say to your friend who's walking in front of you, "Why do sound guys like melons?" And as this person said that, they were walking past me, and I never got to hear the punchline.
Oh!
And I've tried Googling that joke, and I was a sound guy at that point, and I was like, "I like melons. I don't know why though." So if that was you or somebody you know, or you've heard that joke, let us know what that punchline is. I've been trying to work out what that is ever since.
I'm going to have a think about that and see if I can figure it out.
Yeah. But anyway, that was cool.
That's great.
That's an extra little section that we can add in a week early, or an episode early.
Yeah, sweet.
Are we done? So we said...
I mean, we've definitely got enough.
We did say this one might be a bit shorter because it's the first one. We've been recording for 2 hours and 25 minutes now, so I think a lot of that is going to be cut. So
yeah, that's
it's
fine.
Not going to be 2 hours, 25 minutes long.
But we said we want to do it between like 45 minutes and an hour anyway, didn't we? So we don't want to babble on for too long about stuff.
No, I'll see what I can do. Is there anything else you want to talk about or to say on anything we touched today?
Not really. I mean, I guess, like we said before, this one's just a sort of introduction, so people could just listen to our voices, listen to us babble on a little bit about ourselves, and kind of hopefully they'll come back for the second one and we can talk about certain subjects sort of a bit more in depth. And, you know, we've got tons of ideas for the show. Like we keep, every time we think we're going to do, we've got to do an episode about that. We've got to do an episode about that. We're going to do an episode about that because we just keep thinking of stuff.
Yeah.
So the possibilities at this point are endless. But no, this has been great, man. It's been really cool. I hope whoever's listening has enjoyed it and wants to come back for the next one, and all the ones following. Because yeah, it's been awesome, man. And it's just going to keep on going. We've got the pilot coming up. So I'm buzzed. We're going to have all that stuff to report on. And we've just got endless ideas between the two of us. So, yeah, it's been an awesome first episode, man.
Yeah, it has been pretty good. We got a little bit more to go still. At this point, you may have noticed that we haven't really touched on what bands we're actually into at the moment. There's a reason for that. Instead of both of us just sat here naming a load of bands, you're probably into like twice as many bands as I'm into. You'd be there for a long time just naming all the bands that you're into at the moment.
Yeah, well, it could take me a while, but I say who I'm listening to at the moment. But
so we thought we'd do something fun with it instead, and create some Spotify playlists. I don't know if you want to have a limit. Obviously, I'll link them in the up in the episode description, as well as everything else that we've talked about. But you should be able to find them through Spotify's search function, because we're almost certainly going to name them Dear Download and then our names after them. So it should be quite easy to find. I'm not sure how good Spotify's search function is.
it's not too bad. I mean, I managed to find random episodes about Download Festival just by typing it in and going to episodes. So
Yeah.
it's not too bad, actually. It's pretty good.
Awesome. And then and we figured out there's something that you guys can do as well. If you want us to check out some cool bands that you think we might enjoy, going off of what we've put up or whatever. You can make a playlist of a load of cool bands and then sneak your band in there. Well, that would be cool.
Yeah, because we'd be like, oh, wait a minute, who's this? And someone could be like, that's my band. And we'd be like, sick. That's awesome.
Awesome. Do whatever you like. I think, personally, I'm going to keep mine to about 10 to 15 songs. I don't know about you. I think that's a good amount.
Yeah.
If you guys could keep it to roughly the same, you don't have to. We're not making any rules or anything. But for me, I'm more likely to check out a playlist if it's about 10 to 15 songs, and then we can have a chat about them as well. If we might not get anybody do this at all, but we might get 100, and we'll be like, how the hell are we going to listen to all of these? We don't know how it's going to go yet. So
yeah.
We'll see what we can do.
We're just putting the feelers out there at the moment. We're just sort of testing the zone, testing what works, what doesn't work.
Yeah.
And we'll get into a groove, and then we'll know exactly what we're doing.
Exactly. So before we go, do you want to tell people where they can find you, Simon? Obviously YouTube,
Yes.
or with the bands you've been in.
Yeah, on YouTube, I'm literally just Simon Bond. So if you want to find my videos, just type in Simon Bond and it should come up with some of my stuff, or just type in Download Festival and I'm usually hovering in and around there somewhere. And yeah, I'm Fonzie_Simon on Instagram if anyone wants to follow me on there, or I'm just Simon Bond on Facebook if anyone wants to come on. But once we get all of our social media stuff up and running as well, we'll all be on there and doing all that stuff, so people will be able to reach us easily and that. But yeah, great stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, like I said, we don't actually have them at the time of recording, but I'll make sure we have them by the time we release this episode. So I'll be able to link it up in the show description or episode description.
Yeah.
Whatever. As I mentioned earlier, I had another podcast all about retro video games. It was more like forgotten games. We tried to concentrate on games that weren't talked about as much anymore. Basically, we played games and then talked about them. We had a laugh with it. We didn't take the reviewing of these games too seriously. Like I said earlier, it's finished now, but it's still up. So if you want to get to know me a bit more, you can go and check that out. We were men podcasting badly. We were pretty much everywhere. We were on Podbean and Spotify, and then all the main social medias. You can.
Great name, by the way.
Yeah.
Great name. Really good. Yeah, I loved it. When you sent me the link and you were like, check this out so you get an idea, and I was like, it's a great name.
Yeah.
Really good.
We did get on like an awards thing once, and it was an American guy. He didn't get the name. He was like, don't throw yourself under the bus, boys. We thought it was all right. It was like, well, you don't really get it.
You don't get it.
No. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm proud of what we did. We're going for about a year. So yeah, if you want to get to know me a little bit more, that's fine. Go and check that out. I do want to leave you with a couple of things that I learnt from it, because one of them leads into something else that I do need to say. So the first one, I learned that Echo the Dolphin on the Mega Drive. Did you ever play that?
Of course.
Did you know it was about aliens in time travel?
No idea.
No, not many. I don't think many people did, but I played that one and I couldn't believe that that's what it was about. Like the end boss, you go into this alien ship and you're trying to beat up this alien.
Oh my God.
That was
That's
pretty
amazing.
cool.
Well, the game was so hard as a kid, I never got through it because it
Yeah.
was almost impossible for a child to complete that game.
Well,
It was
I didn't
really
get very
difficult.
far through it, so we didn't complete games. We basically played them for a bit, got our initial ideas or thoughts on it, and then watched the ending on YouTube. But like we were honest about that. We were like, yeah, this is what we do.
Yeah.
It was cool. The other thing, Streets of Rage 2. Do you remember Skate in Streets of Rage 2?
Remind me. I played Streets of Rage 2.
So you've got Axel and Blaze, who were in the
Oh.
first one. And then
Yeah.
you've got the big guy. I can't remember what the big guy's name was, but then Skate, who's on rollerblades.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And he is Adam's brother from the first one. His little brother. And his name is Eddie Hunter. And so I said in the episode, his name is the same as Iron Maiden's mascot.
Yeah.
Because, well, when I first got into Iron Maiden, that's when they released the PC game, Ed Hunter, I think it was called.
Ed Hunter. Yeah, of course.
So I always assumed his surname was Hunter. But I don't think he's referred to as Hunter in anything else.
No.
And but my thoughts about it were confirmed by the headstone in the what's it called? I've got it written down. Is it Live After Death?
Yeah, the Live After
the
Death
blue one where he's
cover.
coming out of the
Yeah.
ground. Yeah, and the headstone it said Edward T.H. And that confirmed it for me. It's like, that means it's obviously meant to be Hunter, but it's not. It's the head. And it's only the last couple of months that I realised that his surname is not Hunter. It's just, but I've been telling people about that as well. I've been saying Ed Hunter, like Eddie T. Hunter, Edward T. Hunter, whatever, all these years.
So now you spread misinformation.
Exactly. And I wanted to say that to lead into we're going to get stuff wrong. Well, I am at least. I don't know about you. You remember every single weather, so you might not. You obviously got a much better memory than me, but there's going to be stuff that I get wrong, just from not remembering it as well, or never really thinking I need to look it up to actually double check. So if there's anything we get wrong, you are more than welcome to write into us to correct us, and then we will then correct it on the next episode as well.
Definitely. There's going to be a few things that we're not going to remember correctly for sure.
Yeah.
Or things we're going to miss out or whatever. And if you remind us, then let us know, and then we can talk about it the way it was supposed to be talked about the first time.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Well, that's all I got written down. I don't know how to finish the show. The only thing I've got written down now is, as for this podcast, we should be on most things too. None of them are actually set up yet, but they will be. But I've already said that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure I wrote an outro. Never mind. So, yeah. Again, thank you all for listening in. We've had an awesome time doing this, I think. We've recorded for a lot longer than we thought we would. But,
Turns out we can talk about Download for quite some time, which is good if we're going to be doing a podcast about it.
yeah, definitely. We've done everything else. I don't fucking know how to finish it. Do you got anything?
Yeah, we're just, thanks to everyone for listening. And, we're going to hopefully make this every 2 weeks. We should be bringing a new episode out and talking about all different subjects just to do with Download, festivals, music, and anything really that we find interesting, which is relevant to the podcast, really. So, yeah, that's it. We've had a blast doing it. Hopefully you guys will come back for the second episode and, we can build up more fans and listeners from that. And we're going to get our socials up and running, and we can't wait. Download Pilot's just round the corner. And yeah, awesome. Keep on rocking, man. And we've had a blast. Thank you very much for listening.
I think Simon summed it up quite nicely there, but I just wanted to record a bit of a stronger outro with some structure in place and just to reiterate a few things that we've said in this episode. So first of all, you probably noticed my sound quality was not quite so good as Simon's. I've only got a cheap setup, and Simon has probably a bit more experience than me with all of this. I've picked up a few tips from him already, so hopefully I can get up to about the same kind of standard, but that's not the only thing I've got from him. A couple of days after recording, Simon offered to send me one of his spare SM57s, which is crazy, but obviously amazing. We've known each other less than a month. We've spoken for about 5 hours, and yet he's sending me a microphone. What an absolute legend. So, and that's what I absolutely love about our community, the download community, the heavy metal or alternative. We're like family to each other. And I know it's a bit cliche to say, most bands at the festival will be saying that on the stage, but it's so true, you know, and it's one of the things that brings me back every year. Just, you know, everybody there is so incredible and amazing. So keep on being amazing to each other. If you see Simon at the Pilot Festival, say hi and buy him a beer if you want. We do have a Facebook account set up now. We're probably going to do a Twitter and an Instagram too, but we haven't quite got there yet. But yeah, I want to go over exactly what we've asked of you guys in this episode. So we want to hear about your experiences with the Pilot Festival. We want to see any videos or pictures you're willing to share with us. You can share them to our Facebook or tag us in them or send them in a message, whatever works best for you. We want to hear from you or someone you know if you or they saw Metallica when they played the Secret Set in 2003. We hope that you will check out our Spotify playlists and share yours with us as well. And also, as we said before, we have absolutely no idea at this stage how successful this will be. So if you have any feedback whatsoever, good or bad, then we'd love to hear it. Our Facebook is Dear Download Podcast. We also will definitely have an email address for you to be able to email us. At the moment, it is deardownload2003@gmail.com. But I think at least I don't know about Simon, I want to get everything the same. So we might look to change that to just something like Dear Download Podcast. So just so it's the same everywhere. I hope all of you who are going to the Pilot have an absolutely incredible time. I'm sure those free hugs are going to mean so much more this year. And if you see Simon, go and say hello. And like I said, if you fancy it, you've heard how cheap he is in this episode. Buy him a beer if he's looking a bit thirsty. And to those of you like me who won't be going until 2022, we'll get there. Don't worry guys, we'll get there. Hang in there. I can't wait to be back there with all of you as well. It's going to be one hell of a party when we can all do it again. But in the meantime, we'll try and have as much fun and stay as positive as we can on here. Thank you so much for listening, and you can get into the end if you're hearing this. From both of us, it's been incredible. It's been fun. And we'll speak to you all soon. Bye-bye.